bitch. Oh, excuse you? Baloney wash. I'm annoyed. I'm just here to give my opinion and carry in. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Hey everybody, welcome and happy 4th of July. Happy Saturday, whatever you want to call it. It's your boy Chris Avalon. Happy day after MadonTa release party. You know, aka Great Gay Christmas. But anyway, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy Chris Avalon. Welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, the show where we basically talk about all things going on in pop culture and hot topics, all that good stuff. So that's the show for you. Definitely stick around because we have a special show today. Normally we do a show where it's just going to be all about what's going on in entertainment news or homosexual news and all that stuff going on. But today, I was going to do it yesterday, but I was prepping food to be grilling and all this other stuff. So it was just a lot going on yesterday. So I had the time to really want to put a show together or even the energy. So I was like, look, I'm feeling better today. We're going to do it today. And plus, I wanted to spend a little more time with the album. And I know some of y'all going to say, wait, you late. There was a reason why I was late because literally before I went live, I was actually prepping my notes for each of the tracks that's on the record because I didn't do that before. And I want to have stuff prepared because I didn't want to just be rambling or whatever. But anyway, it's going to be a show. Y'all can come in, say what y'all want to say in regards to the album, your thoughts, your favorite songs, your not so favorite songs, how the songs made you feel when you listened to it. What are you hoping that we're going to get on the tour? All that good stuff. You know how we do over here. But anyway, so yeah, definitely hit that like, subscribe, smash the notification bell. Also hype the channel, let people know. You can clip stuff up in here and post it on the social medias and things. So yeah, I'm gonna be definitely reading you all's comments and stuff throughout the show as we normally do over here. And so always like, wait a minute, I had some stuff open. But anyway, so let's come over and see what y'all are saying. Oh yeah, we got a couple of comments in here. I'm gonna get to those. Oh, and also I found some articles and things I'm gonna bring up in here. Out Magazine did an article called "Why Madonna Will Always Be Mother Superior to the Levitical Plus Fans." Stuart Price did an interview over there at Attitude. We could also talk about the TikTok live stream that they did. I didn't get to watch it when it was on because I was doing a show, but I did get to watch it because there was a reaction video that I came across on YouTube, and he live streamed. I mean, he basically streamed the whole damn thing. So I was like, ooh, let me just watch his reaction, a reaction of a reaction, in order to see the whole thing. So I got to watch the interview. It was cute. I feel like the best part of it was when Lola and her mother was talking about their process, and also I came across this article from the conversation called "Confessions to Why Madonna Still Matters." So we're definitely getting into that because I feel like some people have forgotten all about why the Queen is who she is. But there was this other video that I came across that I want to play before we get to that, where this girl was asking if pop music is your favorite genre. You need to put some respect. I was trying to say it like Billy Porter. You know how extra he liked to be on some of your pop ancestors' name, because a lot of y'all be out here worshiping these pop girlies, talking about, oh yeah, Slay and all that other mess. But then when it come down to it, y'all don't want to put no respect on the icons that came before them. And I do feel like in this generation, you new generation bitches, you Gen Zers and Gen Alphas and things, these Madison Beers and these Addison Rays and all these other girls and the Charlie XCXs who y'all be living for and doing all this. Some of y'all do it this way. That's the wrong way. It's this way, yeah. But anyway, so when y'all be looking at these girlies, y'all need to remember who were the blueprints for them and inspired them to make the music that they make. So I want to play this clip for y'all, and then we're going to come back and talk. Please.
Sorry, but I'm an old strict gay when it comes to Madonna. I'm on my third or fourth listen to the new Confessions album. Skip list, by the way. But it has me realizing a lot of young queer people do not give a fuck about her. There are so many young people, especially young queer people, who claim to be lovers of pop music, yet don't have a familiarity with Madonna's discography. Let's throw Janet in there too, because she gets paid dust. My question is, why do you not know your history? Especially with the relationships that these artists have to the queer community. Why are you not curious about your history? I'm not saying you have to like them or their music has to be for you. Why not just dip your toes in and take an effort to learn a little bit? especially because a lot of these new gen pop girls that you're listening to are referencing these older artists. And how are you not going to fully appreciate them if you don't even know which artist they're referencing? So the moral of the story is put some respect on Madonna, put some respect on Janet, put some respect on Shaka Khan, put some respect on Cher, please. Sorry, but I'm an old.
Okay. And she said, yeah, put some respect on them people's name. She said, cause y'all out here paying them dust. And people in the comments, they was all agreeing with it and stuff. I had people say, well, somebody said, one of my friends said she mentioned Shaka. She definitely at cookouts, which is true. Cause I'm like, yeah, she bringing up Shaka Khan. Another friend, Dem Vetter said the musicology is just one chapter of history the young gays pay dust to. Okay. So we got a couple people here agreeing. Corey Amon says 100%. Tommy Mato said is just getting or is lost. I feel being a huge Shaka fan for over 40 years now. I grew up knowing that Ella Fitzgerald, Sarah Vaughan, Mahalia Jackson had influenced Shaka, Aretha Gladys, Patty, and so many others. And like when y'all look at Michael Jackson, James Brown influenced him, so many other artists where he took from it. You learn that. Even though we all knew this, those of us who've been a Michael Jackson fan knew who his inspirations and stuff were. He would look at old movies, he would look at Gene Kelly, he would look at a lot of that stuff too. Same thing with Usher. Usher looked at Michael Jackson. He was a fan of like Singing in the Rain and Gene Kelly and Fred Astaire and a lot of those type of artists because when you watch his showmanship, he take and Ben Vereen, he would take a lot of the influence on those people and incorporate it into what he does and put his own style on it. So everybody has their influences, and I feel like for y'all to be out here, oh, so and so copied over so and so, we all take, if you're an artist or you have an artistic gene, we all take little inspirations from other people and incorporate in what we do and try to make it our own. So um but then he went on to say, but I knew the ladies that I was listening to back in 84, 85, and 86 were influences stood on the shoulders of these women before them. The fact that this generation doesn't know 5 Janet songs is criminal. They should know that Madonna broke down so many barriers for so many female artists to do what they're doing today, but it's just going to the wind. A new artist comes out in their first or second album, and they're already iconic and legendary. Oh, y'all already know how I feel about that. I go in on bitches when they be like, oh, she an icon with 2 records. Come on now. Come talk about icon status when they last more than a decade. Well, fuck. I don't even give you being an icon status at a decade. You got to be in the business for at least a good decade and well, 2 decades. I say 20 to 25 years. When you hit that 20-year mark, or maybe even 25, then we could sit up in here and talk about icon. But y'all throw that legendary icon status around a little too damn much. I'm like, this ain't no goddamn ballroom where you're gonna sit up here and throw that word around so damn. Oh, she legendary, she legendary. But even then, the ballroom girls back then, they wasn't just calling somebody who just like a baby gay a damn legendary or legend. Another person said, and we're gonna move on to the other stuff. So they say, yeah, these youngsters get on my nerves with their disrespect because when I was a child in the 80s and Whitney Houston was doing her thing, that didn't stop me from having respect for people like Patti LaBelle, Aretha Franklin, Gladys Knight, Donna Summer, Ellis Fitzgerald, and Nina Simone. Even though these ladies were performing before I was born, I knew there'd be no Whitney without any of them who came before her. So I don't know if it's technology that made these kids not give a shit or just ignorance or youth, the fact that a lot of time, but I can't say it's always just youth because I remember when I was young, I wanted to know about the things that came before them, and it's also maybe it's just education. But my parents, when I was growing up, they played a lot of the older music that I wasn't necessarily into. It's like, yeah, when I was growing up, it was about Madonna and Janet and Whitney and Michael and George Michael and Boy George and all that other stuff. Like I was listening and Pet Shop Boys. I was listening to all of that. And a lot of freestyle and all that stuff because that was what was coming up when I was a kid. But also I listened to the Gladys Knights, the Commodores, the Shy Lights, because that's what my father was playing. What's his name? Um that sing Shaft. I don't know why I'm forgetting his name. And I was just watching him in one of my favorite movies, Escape from New York, that played the Duke, Isaac Hayes. I listened, like, that was all the stuff that my father and my mother, I mean, my father played a lot of like that old school, like R&B and funk music. He was playing Funkadelic and all that other stuff. And my mother was up in there playing like all the latest pop stuff. And so that kind of shaped my eclecticness for music. And then there was a period where I would listen to freestyle and all that other stuff. And because she saw that I wasn't getting ready in the morning like I was supposed to, because I'd be all up in the music. And, yeah, we know Chef from South Park was a black Scientologist. But when I was listening to all that stuff, so she knew we wasn't getting ready in the morning. So she would go and put on Light FM, and that was like the Crystal Gales and the Kenny Rogers and I mean, yeah, technically Kenny Rogers was country, but they played a lot of that stuff, or Billy Joel and things like that. And then not realizing that basically what you did was you just opened myself up to different types of music that I wouldn't normally listen to. And I think that's because I was always a fan of music in general. So just hearing those little textures and different sounds and different melodies and other stuff, that shaped me um as well. But anyway, let's get into some of these. I was like, should I get into the comments first, or what y'all saying, or should I just give my overall thoughts on Le album? Because I see a lot of y'all got a lot of stuff in here to say, and I feel like I'm gonna get distracted. Okay, so maybe I'll just get into my overall thoughts on the record. So obviously, you're gonna know. Well, I can't say obviously that I love the record, because it could have went either ways. I could have loved the record, or I could have just been like, okay, what the fuck is this shit? Kind of like how I felt about Madam X. I mean, yeah, that album was a bit divisive, but I feel like, you know what? Even though we was kind of mad that Madonna been gone for like what, 7 years, I feel like that was good enough time for her to go away, because you just feel all the inspiration, everything that she had to say was pretty much set on this record from what we got so far. And I think a lot of the what she needed to say was a lot. And also, when I was listening to the record, it definitely felt like these were songs that were probably going to fit within that world of her biopic. But because the biopic didn't happen, it's like she got way more autobiographical on the new album. And I remember they were saying something, I think, on that TikTok video, where somebody tried to say that she did an interview. Well, she said she did an interview recently, and somebody was like, "Oh, you never really gone this deep." And I'm like, "Yeah, first of all, you don't really listen to Madonna, because Madonna does go deep on a lot of her songs. If you actually paid attention to her discography and looked into her stuff, like, you can go and listen to songs off of the Music album. You can go listen to songs off the Erotica album. You can go listen to songs off the Ray of Light album. She goes deep in a lot of those things. Even one of her most polarizing records that y'all don't particularly care for, that had American Life. She got deep on that record. Where the hell was you? So you clearly, a lot of you people out here saying this stuff, it's like you literally said that with a straight face and thought you was gonna get away with that. It's like Madonna does get deep and vulnerable, I guess is the word, if you really pay attention to some of the stuff that she does. She's even gotten vulnerable on some of her earlier stuff, but y'all was so busy worrying about, lies, lie, bone, damn Nita, and doing all the other controversial stuff. Y'all probably wasn't out there paying attention when she was getting vulnerable and she was talking about real life situations. So tell me you're not a fan without telling me you're not a fan. So let me get into my overall thoughts about the album. I'm sure y'all probably already saw my reaction video. Sorry about the first 20 minutes. Had no idea my microphone was even on. This is what happens when you record and you're not live. I had it on the wrong thing. And then something was like, check the thing. I should have did in the beginning, but I was also rushing to put it together because the album just came out. I was already anxious. Getting to it, because oh my god, it's out, it's finally out, I could listen to it. It was like I didn't know what to do with myself, so I was literally trying to rush and do everything together, record the whole video, upload it to Patreon. Surprised that YouTube didn't flag me, but I guess there's a lot of us that was out here that were putting together reaction videos. So I'm glad Warner Brothers didn't kind of come at us. I didn't monetize it because I knew that's what we were getting, because I'm like, it's not my stuff. I already know they're not going to let me monetize, because of the copyright. Or y'all could have just did something where we get a joint situation. I'm giving my opinion. You still getting a little cointada from the music. But whatever. So I put the reaction video up. Once you get past the first, 3 songs, the mic works and you hear everything. But I remembered some of the stuff that I said, so I'm gonna just go through each of the songs now. When it comes to, what was it? Do we need to go through every song? I Feel So Free, it already sets the mood, everything in regards of setting off the record. I understand why they released that song first. However, I do feel like there's another song on the album they should have released as the first single. We'll get around to what that song is once I get through all my overall thoughts about it. Good for the Soul. I actually love some of those spiritual and the spiritual aspects of that. I call Good for the Soul the impressive instant of the album because it definitely reminded me of that with a lot of the way that like how experimental it was. I also love the Virgo shout out. So shout out to Madonna. She lives for the Virgos. Virgo moon bitch. So I was living for that. So yeah, Good for the Soul was a cute song. As I said before, it's the impressive instant of the album. Love Without Words. Wait, Love Without Words. That's an old song. I meant One Step Away. One Step Away. I definitely love that song. First of all, I was glad to hear her singing because it's been a minute since Madonna was singing and singing clearly. Because, girl, I need you to retire them damn grills. I know you think it's cute or whatever, but you trying to sing with them shits in your mouth and all this stuff. Ma'am, stop it. I hate you with the grills. But overall, I just love how she sounded good vocally on that track. Now, Danceteria. I feel like Danceteria should have been the first single off the, out the gate instead of I Feel So Free. I get it. You wanted to set the mood with I Feel So Free. You wanted us to get like a vibe of what the album's going to be. She wanted to pay homage to like the underground dance clubs and that whole culture of like Detroit house and Chicago and that type of sound. I know that's what you want to do with that. But I feel like if you really wanted to bring everybody old and new on board, like that's to me, I feel like Danceteria is the springboard that would bridge the gap and like, oh, that's a new Madonna song. And because people are really, I feel like a lot of people are responding to that song more so than any of the other singles that you released so far. But I get from a promotional standpoint why you did what you did. But to be honest, I feel like Danceteria should have been the first single. Now, well, I feel Read My Lips is slightly better track than Medellin, or as I like to call it, Medellin. Bitch, I'm Loca in Spanish lesson. I'm gonna admit that when I heard Read My Lips, the song didn't immediately grow on me. And shout out to Fee because I saw like a little clip of him online and how he was talking about that when he had heard that Madonna wanted to work with him, how nervous he was and all the other stuff, and how she was gonna treat him and how their vibe was gonna be. And then it turns out that she's one of the coolest women. He said she's probably the most famous person he has on his phone. So shout out to his little cute self. But anyway, so I will say that I didn't immediately take to Read My Lips. I do feel like the song is a little too short. It is still growing on me. And I feel like maybe it needs another minute because once we get to the feed part and then that beat changes, I feel like that's when the song really starts to pick up. I will say this too, even though it's a track for the Absolute thing, which I got as you see my background, the Absolute Vodka Madonna line, Absolute Icon. Let me tell you, that hot sauce song, I was like, even though it's kind of, it's definitely a track that's just for what it is. It's not an album track. People, somebody should have been on the album. No, hot sauce should not be on the album. But I will say this, I couldn't stop saying mas. She had me saying that a lot when I was listening to that song. So shout out to Hot Sauce, Justice for Hot Sauce. I don't know, do I want to own Hot Sauce? I mean, I got Hot Sauce in my house. I got Hot Sauce in my bag. Swag. Shout out to Beyonce. I heard Beyonce dropped a new song today too. I was like, girl, please. We live for you, Beyonce, but this is Madonna's moment. Have it. Okay, so now let's talk about Everything because that was the next track. Everything. In the words of Lauryn Hill, everything is everything. Because as soon as it started, was I the only one that felt like singing deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper? Like I felt like going in there and doing that because that's what it felt like. I also love the electronic flourishes over her vocals, and that beat hits hard. I'm like, wait, I was like, now, wait a minute. I was not expecting her to go this hard with this damn hard ass house beat, but Madonna letting y'all know that she is the queen of the dance floor. Remember somebody said that she fought hard for a dance floor and this is what she here for, whatever that was. Y'all know it was off that Chromatica album. I'm like, girl, please. Madonna said, hold my beer. Speaking of hold my beer, I know what the hell's his name? William Orbit out here punching the air because all that shit you was talking about with Madonna and Stuart Price and everything. Sir, they done took your little sonic flourishes and things that you was doing from the rail light era. They brought it on this album and they was like, bitch, you're not the only one that can do all of this stuff. In fact, they took a lot of the things that you did from the rail light era and elevated it. So Madonna was like, okay, bitch, I see you out here trying to run your little mouth. And I'm gonna show your ass, and I'm gonna show it to you through the music. She's like, I'm not gonna throw shade at you. I'm gonna shade you through the product. And she definitely threw a little shade. So if y'all expecting a Rail Light Part 2 from William Orbit, y'all got Rail Light Part 2 on the second half of Confessions 2. Also, let's talk about that title. So I feel like when it comes to Confessions fits this album more than it fits the first album. I get you doing the whole confession on the dance floor. Maybe she was just trying to feel like, it's dance music, but also I want y'all to like, I'm going to give you something a little deeper and more, and I want to provide more depth in regards of the the dance music, because people always look at dance music as like disposable. It's just something you shake your behind to and then just that's it. But it's like she wanted to give you something a little more, and I feel like we got that. I feel like the Confessions title lives up to its name on this new record versus the other one, if that makes sense. So now, Love Without Words, I'm obsessed with that song. I was living for the euphoric electronic flourishes, the Detroit house feel. It transported me to another world. It also reminded me of did it remind y'all of the Whistle song with Frankie Knuckles? Like, it was giving me that when I was listening to that song. So call it trance, call it house, call it whatever. I'm calling it a fucking bop. So I was here for Love Without Words. It was definitely giving me my life. Now, me being a house head and someone who engulfs himself in EDM culture, I will admit I'm not a big Martin Garrix fan, but his collaboration with Madonna, I was here for, and especially because that was a song that allegedly, do we say alleged or just gonna call it what it is? It's about Sean Penn. I mean, there might be some stuff about that other ex-husband of hers too. The one that been making these shitty action movies as of late. Y'all be out here trying to act like Guy Ritchie is this bee's knee. Some of his movies, I'm like, sir, what were you thinking? I still haven't seen that In the Gray, but child, that movie made nothing at the box office. Anyway, so yeah, I'm listening to a lot of different EDM artists. I listen to John Summit. I also listen to I think who, I guess is that how they pronounce it, because it's WH and this is zero. So I guess we'll go with who. Adelphi Social Club, I listen to them. Jody Harsh, obsessed with her. Of course, Honey Dijon. So I'm a DJ head. I don't really listen to a lot of that big room EDM stuff. I do listen. John Summit is an exception, but I do listen to a lot of the people within the world that does like that disco house and stuff. That's kind of like where I am right now with a lot of what I listen to. So Martin Garrix, I'm like, I might start paying attention to his stuff a little more. But I'm not really a big fan of his, like that, out of the many DJs that out here that's making music and do those big room situations. James Hype is another one that I listen to. Now, one of the things we do know about Madonna is the fact that she gets bored pretty quickly. As she says in the opening line, please teach me something I don't already know. And that's, on school. I should have stated that. So I like when someone who is actually open to trying new things and don't always want to just stick to a certain routine. And that's always been something that Madonna's always pushed. And I also loved how she referenced one of my favorite bedtime story tracks, I'd Rather Be Your Lover. And I also love how Stewart distorted her vocals because it kind of had like this deep robotic texture to it, and it just felt very sexy and and it made the song sexier. So I was living for school, because bitch, school is in session. And can you imagine like Madonna like one of those teacher, like a sexy teacher with like a whip in a classroom, basically trying to seduce her students? Of course, they'd have to be older because it'd be kind of gross if it was children and stuff. But I could definitely see her doing some teacher student master. Who is the master? Who is the slave? Remember that song from what was that album? with Justin Timberlake and Timberland. Hard Candy. Anyway, so let's get into Fragile. Now, Fragile, I will say, is a song for me that is hard for me to get through. I think it's because of the subject matter. First of all, it's about her brother. I know she said in the TikTok interview that she wrote that song shortly after he passed away, and it was a lot that was going on in her life. Her stepmother Joan, which we're about to get to that song in a second. Well, down when we get to it, it's coming up. So uh that was just a hard song to get through because it's just so emotional. And I will say, when I first listened to it, I was just taking it in. But the more I've listened to it, it's like this this feeling comes over me, like chills. And then at one point, I will say I did shed a tear listening to it. So it's just how so straightforward and vulnerable she is on this song. And the fact that, you know what, even if you have a falling out with a sibling or whoever is in your life that you're close to, remember once upon a time we were connected, and then things happened. Even when he wrote that scathing book about her, which I ain't gonna hold y'all, I did buy the book. I do own Christopher Chiccone's book on his sister. But the fact that she's like, you know what, I forgave him, because everybody was, remember in the beginning she was talking about the song was gonna be called "Forgive Yourself." It's called "Fragile." So I actually think that that's a much better title for it. It's definitely a good song, and you definitely got to be in the mood to listen to something like that, especially if you can relate to being in a situation where you got a little, when you're not in the best place with someone, specifically a sibling. So I definitely can relate to that song in a lot of ways. And it's like, yeah, I mean, while my sibling is alive and he continues to hold a grudge or for whatever, and likes to just wallow in his misery and just be always, because I guess maybe that makes him feel like he's alive in a way. I've forgiven. I moved on. I don't allow, because I don't want all of that to engulf me. And child, I ain't trying to be out here looking all wrinkly and having crow's feet and all that other shit. And funny enough, he's 3 years younger than me, but looks older than me. So there's that. And that's why I tell you, all that shadiness and just walking around with this dark cloud over you, that shit ages you. And anybody got time? Anybody got time for that? So okay, so oh, and also, did y'all notice on Fragile, when you listen to the second verse, did y'all notice like vocally her voice sounds more like she is taking on, like she's singing from the point of view of herself as a little girl? Because I noticed that, and it sounded more like there was children singing behind her, unless that was Stewart basically duplicating her voice to make it sound like it's a chorus of people that was singing. But I did notice that in that point, she was singing from the point of view of like her as a little girl having a conversation with her brother. And I was like, I love that. And so when people talk about she's a bad actress, Madonna's a bad actress when she take on certain roles with them people in Hollywood. But when it comes to her actually having to put on these different characters and perform through her music and through her art, I feel like she sells it better. Maybe because that's her wheelhouse. She's more comfortable there, and she doesn't. She can just let go because she could be vulnerable. She can take on these different characters and ideologies and characteristics and all this other stuff because it's music, and music allows her to take on these different characters and personas. Whereas when you're an actor, you're at the mercy of the screenwriter, the director, all these other people. This is not your art. You're the vessel for someone else's art. So, My Sins and My Savior. When I heard the song, it definitely felt like, okay, this would fit perfectly on the Erotica album. I'm actually hoping on this tour we do get some songs from the Erotica era that makes it in the tour. And My Sins and My Savior, I love it. I love that she was singing in French because she's done it before. I loved her song. What was it? Paradise Not For Me, which was a Mirwais song. Um, and that was on his album, also on hers. And I love the fact that she was singing in French. Also, Stromae, I love the fact that she was working with him. Which, sidebar, in case people didn't know, Stromae is actually, if you jumble the words like you on that little board with the Soul Train scramble board, it actually spells out maestro, and so that's where he got that name from. And I've been obsessed with this kid since he started working with Tove Lo a couple of what was that, on her last album or her album before that. They've worked together in the past. They also have a new song together on her upcoming album. So that also is what made me really get into him from that. But then him working with Madonna, you know, Madonna loves the French. Madonna loves working and taking chances and working with different people and speaking different languages and all that stuff. And I've always said, even if you don't understand French or Spanish, whatever the case is, music is that thing that brings us all together, and it's universal language. So there's artists I listen to, I don't understand a fucking word they say. And Stromae, his music is very politically motivated. He talks about unemployment, he talks about racism, he talks about a lot of stuff in his music. So if you're looking for somebody, and I also like how he looks. He's good looking, he's cute. That's a plus. And then on top of that, I like how he's very much genre pushing in regards to his fashions. I was trying to find the word, but yeah, he's very much a genre pusher when it comes to fashions and a lot of with his music. And, you know, Madonna likes working with people who are interesting and creative and that sort of thing, and someone who's not afraid to push the boundaries. Now, child, now let's get into Miss Joan, honey, because when I was talking about when if y'all listen to my reaction video or watched it, when we got the betrayal and I heard that line, this is the story of betrayal. You couldn't see your fall from grace, so take the hammer, hit the nail. You'll never take my mother's place. I had to pause it and be like, oh, wait a minute now. She told my Joan, her stepmother, who her father actually wound up having two children with after they had all the other kids with Madonna's mother. So I wonder how Madonna's siblings and her step siblings feel about that song. And I wonder if Madonna's father has heard the song yet. But the thing about it is that, look, it may cut deep, but that's how she feels. And through art, I always feel like that's the best. Or if you're a writer or whatever, even if you don't have the ability to get a microphone and make music, writing it in a book, doing poetry, whatever the case is, as long as you can get it out of your system, that's how she feels. And you can't fault someone for feeling how they feel, especially when your mother died when you was 5, and then your father just moved on and married somebody else and started a whole new life. He was ready to move on, and Madonna wasn't, because it's like when you lose somebody that is a part of that you came from, how do you coincide with that? So also speaking of, because so I was gagged by that song. Now speaking of gagged, it was great to see Madonna and Lola collaborate on a song. I know they've collaborated before, but it was good to collaborate on this song. I also love that it gave Ray of Light vibes. She referenced Little Star, which was of course a song off of the Ray of Light album. I didn't particularly care for Ray of Light. That track, actually, I won't say Ray of Light. I love Ray of Light. I just didn't care for Little Star. It's probably because I don't have a daughter. I have a stepdaughter who I raised, but I mean not a stepdaughter, a goddaughter, and so I can relate in that way where I've had to be a dad to her and all the other stuff. So I just that song when it came out, I was like, I can't resonate with this. It was like '98. I didn't have any kind of childlike responsibilities, whatever. So I was like, skip. I mean, I listened to it when I was a kid, or I mean, when it came out. But I do skip it every time. If I'm listening to Ray of Light and it's on the situation. But them coming together now, it's like, okay, I can relate to this because Lola's much older. She's on the farther side of pushing 30. So because she's in her late 20s, was like 28. So, and then her coming together with her mother and them figuring out a way, like, you know what, through my art, this is the way we can talk about the things we talk about. And so, who knew that her and Lola had tension? We knew that Madonna and Rocco had tension because remember that crazy court battle. Rocco didn't want to be traveling the world with his mother. He wanted to go find his own identity. So he wanted to go live with his dad. And there was drama in that whole situation. And when you listen to Rocco, it's like you hear Lola, she got that stank New York attitude. And then you look at Rocco and he comes across like this debonair British chav type of dude. Like very much like, and it sounds, first of all, hearing him with a British accent, I'm like, oh, how you doing? He sounds sexy with the British accent, and he speaks French. So like his sister. So hearing, you know, this song together and then working out their issues, especially with Lola trying to carve out her own identity, being the daughter of the most famous pop star on the planet, and being like, you know what, I just wanted to be a mother. I wanted to give you a life, but I didn't realize that, you know, me bringing you in this world was going to be such a price that you would have to pay. It's like, yeah, I deal with the bullshit of, you know, when you see in the Madonna music video montage thing that she did with Torso, with the whole ongoing theme of the cameras following her around everywhere, and she doesn't like the fact that, yeah, the cameras are invasive and all the other stuff, but that's the price you pay to be able to showcase the thing you really want to do, which is your art and all the other stuff. So it's like, I hate it. I'll deal with it. But if this is the price I got to pay to just create what I want to create, then so be it. But you don't realize what that does to your children who didn't ask for all of this stuff that you wanted. So it's that slippery slope. And the fact of them working it out in a song, I just thought was just iconic. So shout out to Madonna, shout out to Lola. And LES Girl, which is the final track off the album. Love it because it to me it felt like it's the perfect come down song. Like after I done left the club or the warehouse party or whatever the case is, and there have been many a nights in the 90s and the 2000s, even the 2010s, where I would leave the club and I'd be coming up. I leave the club and then the sun is coming up. I'm like, oh, it's daylight. Oh, I'm about to melt this. And then or sometimes it's that vibe of like it just feels like the sun is just washing over you and you just feel awesome. And it's just like that perfect song that feels like it's just cleansing all the craziness. And then you can just go back to your regular day of, okay, so I just left all my inhibitions and everything and all the crazy stuff that I worked it out on the dance floor. Now I'm going to go back to my life. And then just that song just it's like, it's just a palate cleanser. So it was perfect. I did read an article where they said that it's too many songs on the album that she should have capped it at a certain, I'm like, shut the fuck up. You don't even understand what all of this is or why she picked these songs and the overall vibe and the mood that she was trying to set with that. So yeah, so I mean, I'm still unpacking the album and picking up on new things the more I listen to it. Like when I was listening to Dancing to Her and then she goes, I was like, how am I just picking up the part where they said no entiendes? I was like, why am I just picking up on that? I don't know. Sometimes things just pop in my head at the most inconvenient times. And then, so look, now through it all, one thing's certain, the Queen of Pop is back and she has reclaimed her throne. So all these other girls out here trying to act like that, oh well, give everybody else a chance. Well, tell them to step their pussy up. How about that? If you was out here doing what needed to be done, you wouldn't feel the need to be threatened by a Madonna and be expecting her to, why she got to move to the side so your fave can shine. Tell your fave when it's her moment to step her pussy up. How about that? So, yeah, those are my overall thoughts on everything. And so I see y'all got a lot of comments in here. So, let's see what the people's is saying. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. I mean, do you agree with my assessment, or what are your overall? I don't want everybody to agree with what I got to say. We all have. I love the fact that we all have differences of opinion, and so you go in here and just give your overall thoughts, your favorite, your unfavorite. Let's talk about love without words and my sins and my savior. Because yes, bitch, agreed. OMG, I've been playing Love Without Words nonstop. Yeah, Love Without Words is definitely a good song. School has the bottoms. Like if you're a top and you play School in front of me, you better do. That's funny. I'm like, what? Not the bottoms out here trying to get railed to that song. School gave me blackout vibes for some reason. Something about the lover, lover, lover part reminded me of something Danger could have done. I can see that. He says she quotes the underrated "I'd rather be a lover" from Bedtime, which I did reference in my assessment. You know I love that song because how many times have I sang it and quoted it on the show? I always talk about I'd rather be a lover with Michelle Nadigacello, who I believe wasn't she signed to Maverick Records? Does Blackout even have relevancy outside its Britney bitch? I get why she left the industry, but the lack of new music. Yeah, I feel like that newer generations aren't really going to be able to discover Britney like that because Britney's kind of just said F you to her music career. Unless all of a sudden those songs start going viral on TikTok and then a bunch of kids start coming out doing discourses on her, but she's not somebody who wants to keep it going. So I don't know if I see that happening. So yeah, and I always figure like when you got somebody like Hilary Duff performing, she's gonna bring out a lot of the different generations. Like you're saying, like Gen Z, millennials, and then the parents of those Gen Z and millennials because the parents had that on. Those Lizzie McGuire on while, their kids were growing up. Yes, it definitely. I mean, so yes, it was definitely a nod to Ben Top story. Just the way her vocals were cut reminded me a bit of production on. And funny enough, I just feel like what I love about this album is that yeah, she is taking a retrospective look at her life, but also and then not some of the vocal choices she did, some of the production choices which she's done in the past. But I feel like all the stuff that we were looking at and doing things in the past and her revisiting the past and elevating it for the new album and is elevating it and that's why I always say like you can revisit old you can do things but bring a newer perspective to the thing you did back then. Child, they might kill me for saying this, but I actually think Confessions 2 is better than the first one. And I don't particularly like when they make sequels of things because sometimes the sequel ain't as good as the first. But if we want to talk about like music version of like Terminator or Alien, the sequel is better than the first. And then I could just hear CC Cooper say, "You got a hard on for Cameron." If you know, you know. Um, but yeah, so uh, yeah, so I just like the fact that she was taking a nod to a lot of her older stuff, but bringing a lot of those newer elements in. So it's just like for us hardcore fans, it was just awesome because of the Easter eggs that was throughout the music. So I definitely like that. Felix says "School" is one of the first songs I wanted to hear out of curiosity. Funny enough, I didn't listen to the songs out of place. I listened. I was like, let me just listen to the album as it was intended, and I just wanted to go on that journey, and that's the way I did it, or decided to do it. It said, "Happy 4th of July! I just got the 16-track standard deluxe, my premium deluxe, my Pride vinyl, my 12-track CD. I gotta check to see if I don't know if I'm getting mail today. That was July 4th, or might come Monday. But everything's gonna come Monday. I'm getting the two LP because my I got the CD and I got the vinyl. I'm not gonna open any of it. I'm gonna just have it for the sake of having it. I know it's crazy, but I just want to have it. I mean, I could play the CD in my PS5 because that's the only thing I have that I can listen to it on. I don't have a record player. I mean, my parents have a record player, but um, I don't own a record player, but I just want to have the vinyl just for the sake of having a vinyl. So when I get it, I'll probably hang it somewhere. Wait, I don't want to do that because I don't want to damage it. So I'll just have to I'll put it I'll lean it up against the wall on a shelf. I'm gonna pick up my deluxe CD today. Everything is my least favorite. Love the vocals, but don't like the instrumental. But I just like I don't know. I think it's what it is the beat. But I like the fact that we got people in here saying what their favorites and least favorites are. I will say you could definitely tell she hated Joan for over 60 plus years, but kept it hidden because she loved and respected her. Not cough, cough. Oh, we talking about because that comment I made about a certain pop star? Oh, I hate the Janet slander, especially the K-pop star stands who think their idols are legendary. Without Janet, we wouldn't have. First of all, J-pop, K-pop, C-pop, all of that stuff is derivative of black music. So if they want to sit up here and try to act like um that these K-pop kids are all about whatever, I said, first of all, y'all took a lot of that shit from us. So you better put some respect on your elders. You would think with a Spotify and streaming service, you have more access than we do. You would think they would want to listen to the references and influences to see the artist's impact. No, it's just they just like it was stated. People just choose to be ignorant. People just choose to be ignorant, and not wanting to know their elders and stuff. I remember on MTV, Doja Cat got called a child. Meanwhile, if she's such an icon, why y'all not buying her music? Because that last record flopped, V, whatever the fuck it was called. When I was 6 years old, I was listening to Donna Summer. All at six, Jesus. Some people, some people's interest in music honestly just doesn't go beyond the current musicians that are popular today. A majority of my generation will only know Madonna for Vogue, Material Girl, and that's it. Why? Because it went viral on TikTok. But I do love the fact that that's why I don't want to go and lump all Gen Zers and things in there because there are some that actually do look at the past pop stars or whatever What is the qualification for mother status? Because Madonna definitely certifies it, even through her lackluster. Well, I think you become a mother. I mean, mother is like similar to icon or diva. I mean, I just feel like that's just a new iteration of it. Because I mean, I don't think Beyonce is mother status yet. When mother status is Kylie Minogue, it's Cher, it's Madonna, Patti LaBelle, Shaka Khan. Well, no, I know some people say like with Patti LaBelle, but she probably would hate y'all calling her auntie. But yeah, I think like it's mother. That's what I'd be thinking. It's like, yeah, someone who's like a legend, an icon, somebody who's been around for a long time and still out here dipping it and doing it. And you know, with Madonna, she did say the most controversial thing she's ever done was stick around. So, mm-mm. Not Nico texted me, chill. He probably in here watching just as we speak. Anyway, he said it's her best reviewed album since the original Confessions. Yep, I read that. I said everything made me think of Incredible for Hard Candy the first time I listened to it, which I didn't particularly care for Incredible. I think like parts of Incredible goes on way too long. Madonna returns with a bang with Confessions too. Yes, she does. Wrote these exact words in my journal after listening to Danceteria in full. This is the best Madonna has released in 18 years, and I still stand by that. Oh, okay. I do another video. I need a whole video. Yes, I did hear that Mirwais produced. I heard that he only did one song, but I feel like his stamp is on quite a few of the songs. But I know some people was like the song about Joan, because it definitely got like it definitely feels like Mirwais' stamp was all over it. I know she was working on these songs on the past couple of years, but I wonder if they started working on it at first and then they brought Stewart in and he just incorporated little things up in like kind of he brought it all together. And I feel like that's one of the things that Stewart is really good at. He is a producer through and through, which is you can collaborate with, different people and all this other stuff, but Stewart is the one that stitches it all together. He's the one that gets the flow and everything going. And it was also mentioned that with the difference between Confessions and Confessions 2, Confessions felt like it was just one particular thing. Like it didn't feel like it was a bunch of different things thematically. Like you just had everybody in a room together. I think it was said on the MLVC podcast, and I agree with them on this, that everything was done in one room together. Whereas when you listen to Confessions 2 definitely feels like, and that's why I said Danceteria feels like the song that brings it all together, because I've never been to Danceteria. I was way too young to get up in Danceteria. But from what I heard was Danceteria had like different floors, different, which is why, you had Debbie Mason working the elevator. You had different floors that played different types of music. The closest I could say that was a type of club that gave that vibe for me that I was old enough to go to was the Limelight. The Limelight was another club in New York, which was basically a church where you go in and it's like each floor had different types of music and stuff being played. I remember when I went to the Limelight one last time before they were about to close it down and stuff. Now I think it's like a little, I don't know what it is at this point. It might be a mall, it might be just closed altogether and just sitting there. But when I would go there, it was just like different floors that played different music. Even when you went to the top where they had a little what do you call it? Like when you look at the little windows, the little like the painted windows and stuff that they have in the church. Like even when you went up there, they had like all this different stuff. So you can go in one room, they was playing tech house. You go in another room, they was playing hip hop. You go in this room, they was playing this thing. So that was what I liked about. That was the closest I could get to maybe a Danceteria type thing. And I think with this record, it definitely feels like Madonna had different things going on in different rooms and wanted to kind of bring all those sounds together. And it just feels cohesive. And I think that's what made it work when Stewart worked on Kylie Minogue's Aphrodite record. Like she was working with all these different people. Then she brought Stewart on and Stewart brought it all together. And that was like the best, most cohesive dance pop record that she released in a long time. Then of course, we got all the other experimental stuff. And then so we got like Tension 1 and 2. I wonder if that's where Madonna got that idea about Confessions 2 was Tension 1 and 2, or maybe it was just a throwback to everybody saying her best record. And it also goes to show that while Madonna took all these different detours with different types of music and different sounds and was exploring different genres and all this other stuff, I feel like her fans as a whole always wanted her to just stay on the dance floor. I just feel like that girl, you're a dancer. Um, you do pop music. I mean, that's what we want to hear from you. And she always tried to take these little detours and try different things. But sis, you are the queen of the dance floor. I don't know why you left it. It'll be interesting to see how she performs all of this at 67. When, well, she'll be 68 by the time the tour happens. Like how she's gonna be able to curate and do all of this, because this feels like this bitch. This is gonna be the most physically. I feel like this is gonna be the most physically demanding tour that it's gonna be asking of her. I just hope that she doesn't overextend herself when it comes down to like the performances and stuff. Let all the dancers do the heavy lifting. I mean, you can do some choreography and move around and other stuff, but focus on the singing, focus on all the other things you want to bring to it, but really don't. I don't want you. Look, she said she got no cartilage in her knee. I don't, from all that damn squat she was doing. I don't want you hurting yourself again. That's the only thing. I'm saying that was Graham Norton. I don't remember what I said that inquired the whole Graham Norton thing, because I talk, you know. I already explained this. You said my Confessions album review, you have no audio speaking. That's only in the beginning because it was a whole mic situation. But it comes, I already said in the description where, the audio and stuff actually comes in. I didn't want to re-record it because I was like, it's not gonna come across as authentic. I felt like I could really go in depth with my album, with the overall album review on how it makes me feel on here. Whereas like, I can give it to y'all, and then y'all can come in. We can have our little key session and that sort of thing. So yeah, I was like, damn, if that whole audio would have worked in the beginning, because I wrote a sickening intro, if I say so myself, and now it's just like I was like fuck, but then I was like whatever, I'm gonna just leave it up there. It is what it is. Hopefully people stick around and watch the full thing. I really feel like the video probably would have blew up even more, but because that little snafu, you know it's gonna be some issues, but it is what it is. I always try to. The one thing I always feel like that I want to make myself stand out from everybody else. I don't want to come over and be like, "Oh yeah, this is the first time I'm listening to this album." Mind you, they listen to it 3 or 4 damn times, and they want to come on here with the fake. Oh my god, I can't believe. Like, I can't do that, and it's probably just the Virgo side of me, where we just not really good with the inauthenticity. So I was like, whatever. First, I found out about it from Robert because I posted it on uh Patreon first. And he was like, it has no order. I said, say what now? And I was supposed to check it and I didn't. It was late. By the time I was done with my review, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. Well, the listening, the whole listening thing, it was like 3 in the morning. I started like after 12 because I had to wait for the whole album to post. I wish the trumpets for Read My Lips was in the first and second chorus and only comes out at the end. I agree with that. That's why I said it feels like the song, by the time it starts getting cooking with gas, excuse me, this is damn coffee I'm drinking. As soon as the song gets cooking with gas, it's like it's over. And I'm just like, no. That's probably why it's like my least favorite on the album. I hope she doesn't perform it on tour, but if that's the only way she can get Fade finally has to show up on stage, then perform it. He is cute, honey. I seen him in person when I worked his tour. It was like Elias girl is really intimate. Like I could picture her singing it in the coffee shop. Yeah, get out the guitar, and she could. It's like it does feel very like folky, and that's probably what it is. The gimme sample threw me in a butt. It worked. It's about throw you in a loop. Beyonce's new song is about. Is it? Cum stains like sweet morning dew. I took a look at you, and it was plain to say you are my destiny. He said everything gave me what it was. Wait, everything gave me what it was. Her plead to turn the phones off and reconnect with humans because she doesn't fuck with today's life. And also, just that moment, and I do agree with her on this. Like, get outside, and I don't mean this is being a shady part, but get outside and touch some grass. Like, be in one with nature. I do like having those moments where I will literally go outside. It's hot as hell outside. I ain't doing that now. What's the degrees? It's 90. Sure, it is 95 degrees. Yeah, 95 degrees. I had to look at my watch. And humid. Ain't nobody got time for that. The words are sweet and brown. But when you have a moment where it's like, I do like being silent and one with nature, and there'll be times where I'll do that. I'll just like turn my music. Sometimes I have to remind myself too. Like, I'll be walking, like, you know what? Let me turn the headphones off. Let me just actually take the headphones off, put them in my bag, and really just sit and listen to the birds and the trees and stuff, and then just taking that air. And I realized just that silence, that moment, it just makes me feel so connected to the earth. And it could be because I'm an earth sign that I feel that way. So wanted to be one, and that's probably why I told my sister also. I was like, when I die, I want to be cremated. I don't want to be in no ground where bugs eat me. Just burn me up, spread my ashes. I want to become one with the earth again because I'm an earth sign, and I'm all about the dirt and just the earth and just being connected to the earth's resources and the energy and all that other stuff. So um we do need to reconnect with humans and just be one with nature and leave the technology where it's at. Like, you can take a moment and not be on our phones. Or maybe it's just a generational thing because of where we come from. And I love the fact that a lot of the younger generation are calling things like what we used to do and what we took for granted back then before technology became what it was. I love how everybody's calling it analog. Oh yeah, well, she's very analog because Madonna's process, she writes everything in a book. She pen, paper, and all this. I said I write stuff down too. I'm not someone who was always. I mean, now I use more technical stuff, and I have an Apple phone, so I have a note thing that I can keep my stuff in. But I realize I don't go back to that. I miss the days of when I used to actually have like I would get like a little notebook and I would write all my stuff down. I would write down ideas, I would write down poetry, I would write down little lines of things I would hear somewhere. And I feel like I need to get back to that. And I feel like with this record, it reminded me to reconnect with things that I hadn't done in a long time. And I don't feel like artists these days, when they create, remind you to do that. That's why I always feel like Madonna stands out among everybody else. Why people always try to talk about she needs to hang it up or go away or whatever the case is. She gives, I think, people something that a lot of these other pop stars really don't do. So she ain't going no damn where. Honestly, I'm just finding out Beyonce released it. Yeah, that's what I said. She really, I saw it on, I was scrolling on Instagram because I was trying to post that damn interview I did with Erica Lon, which um been giving me issues with trying to do the upload. I did upload it on YouTube though. Um, but yeah, when I was scrolling on Instagram, I saw that she released something. I think it was the Jasmine brand posted it. I do love My Sins and My Savior as well. So I can hear very subtle sounds from previous albums, and it made me start listening to her disc. And I think that's what that should do too. If that doesn't remind y'all to get up there and just revisit her older stuff, I feel like it definitely will do that. And then when people ask, so and please don't ask me. When people ask when you have someone of Madonna's caliber, so what's your favorite Madonna album? I don't have one. I just think when you are someone who is as iconic as she is, or just anybody in general that has a plethora of music, I just feel like it's depending on what my mood is. If I'm in a specific mood, I'll put on maybe erotica. If I'm in this type of mood, I may put on bedtime stories. If I'm in a dancing mood, I'll put on confessions too. If I'm feeling like if I'm feeling very free to Kahlo, I might put on Madam X. It's like it depends on the mood. I really like LES Girl and wish she made it the final track after Fragile. I like the 4 extra tracks, but I was confused when the standard album ended. Oh, you had the standard version. Yeah, I was listening to the deluxe. It was like I immediately went to the deluxe. I was like, let me just take in the the six. I mean the 16 tracks. But I do agree. If you have the standard edition, maybe they should have just used LES Girl as the end for both. That probably would have fit. But I know it's weird when people don't listen to when people are, my sins and my savior sound like it could have been on erotica or bedtime stories. Bizarre was her apology to the travesty that was MDNA. Don't remind me. Y'all know I hate that damn album. I definitely like Confessions 2 more on first listen than I did Brat or Met Him. Child, did y'all hear the gag Asian? First of all, what was it? Consequences Sound tried to talk about that Madonna's album. She spent more time trying to explain, history of dance music and stuff than delivering. But gave Mayhem a much larger score than she did Confessions 2. I was like, clearly you are a little monster. Have a seat. And look, Madonna and Gaga could both exist in their own little whatever, whatever. But for y'all to just try to play in Madonna's face with this album, it's like, child, sit your ass down. They ate that. I remember when I read the comments of so. Oh, they ate that person up. Whoever wrote that interview, I mean that article, that review, ate them up. But yeah, because Brat, I will admit, Brat, it did take me a minute to really wrap my head around that record. And as we like to call meh him, because that album was meh more than May. Um, and I've always said this. I feel like the Mayhem Ball sells the music more so than the record itself. The tour was everything. I know I've seen it 7 times. But and she performed 9 times at the Garden, but I've seen it 7 times. The tour is everything. Best tour that she's done in a long time. Most cohesive tour that she's done in a long time. The problem is, like I said, she takes the songs and she elevates it better in a live setting. When you listen to Mayhem, I was just like, all right, it's a couple of bops on here, but it's not giving me what I need. Abracadabra is definitely the standout. This record is like you can pick so many different songs that satisfies different moods. I'd rather be your lover is one of her best songs. It sure is. Why do you think I love that damn song? I'll be quoting it all the time. I could be your sister. I could be your lover. We could be friends. I can wait. What is that? I could be your sister. I could be your mother. We could be friends. I'd even be your brother, but I'd rather be your lover. Yes, bitch. You know I love that song. Yeah, voices. Thank you. Oh, she definitely brought out Dita, honey, on that song that she does with Stromae. He said, I have a sister and a father I don't talk to, so fragile hits different for me. I held a grudge against them for the longest, and my digestive system began to turn on me. Child, I told you, don't let don't let all that anger and shit sit in your body because you will get sick. And here's the thing is that while you're sitting there holding that grudge and you're getting ulcers and you're getting all these little pains and ailments and you supposed to be 25 but you out here looking 65, and they be like, well, goddamn, what happened? Life. I ain't got no melanin in my system. I ain't saying you, I'm just saying in general. Just But it's like, and then at the end of the day, while you sitting there holding all that negative energy and resentment and all these different negative shit on you, they're out there living their best life. They ain't even thinking about you. They're not even worrying about what you got going on. They over there just like whatever. And you sitting there just mad. For what? Speaking of mad, I'm still mad that Morgan and Michaels didn't make the semifinals, but we'll talk about Drag Race later on. Even though you and I both Onyx, you and I both knew who was the ball that Ace Asaf picked last week. I'm also still mad about who went home yesterday. Well, yeah, I watched it yesterday, but it was Friday. MDNA never felt like a Madonna album because I have heard so many demos of the song. That's what I guess it needed to happen, but I mean, everything happens for a reason. Also, I hated when she went over to Interscope because we saw what they were doing with that whole situation. They already had their version of Madonna over on Interscope. Y'all know Stephanie Joanne Germanata. That's what they had over there. So they were going to prioritize her and then leave Madonna out here fending for herself. But look, she's back at Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers definitely knows what they're doing. The rollout and everything for this album has been everything. One of my friends, Daniel Ardicchio, said that Lizzo need to take lessons on how to properly release a record. She need to look at Madonna and her rollout. Well, when you got a record label like Lizzo does, who don't give a shit about her mid ass radio hits or her music to be played in the halls of Tarjay, then they're not gonna promote what you promoting. It said Allures on Danse by Stromae was a huge hit back in 2009, 2000. Let me find out you know who Stromae is. Don't I just love when we have an eclectic group of people who just like different types of music and not just what the industry tells you to listen to or an algorithm. He said, plus, like she said, her mom was the only person she knew with her name. Many people thought Madonna was a stage name, but turns out it's her. And that's why I love the fact that when you look at certain people, it's like, oh, you were destined to be a superstar. You can't have a name like Madonna, and what were you gonna be, a nun? So I said Lola will be 30 in October. So she's coming to the end of her 20s. I can't personally relate to Mer Girl's lyrics, but the production, I just love ambient. Well, yeah, it's the production and Madonna's storytelling. And speaking of which, I don't even know if I reiterated this much, but the storytelling on this album is just peak Madonna. And it's just like the fact that she took us back to that. I'm just glad that she went back to that. Not only just she got back to singing, but her pen is really showing. She showed out on this record in regards of like the lyricism and stuff. So when people think like, oh, Madonna doesn't write her shit, okay, you full of shit because she does. And just the way that how her writing and her description of things and how she sings things, it feels like it's being pulled from memory. It also feels very cinematic in a lot of ways. So it's like when she was singing things and I'm listening to what she's saying, I can immediately picture it in my mind, so my imagination takes over. And I always like stuff like that. And I think that's what you're meaning when you were talking about Mer Girl, because I just love the ambientness of it. Also, damn, I'm trying to remember. My Sense of My Savior definitely doesn't that give also it felt very Pet Shop Boyish. So I did like that she was kind of taking on a lot of those type of sounds and vibes and stuff too. Also, it reminded me of Enya. Or was that just me? It was giving very much Enya vibes too. I love me some Enya. Or who was the one that sang that? Wait, who was that song? I'm trying to remember the name of that group. The one that would go, oh yeah, hi, oh, I. They sound like Indians chanting. I can't remember that group. Couldn't have been. Enya was a girl. Enigma. That's who it was. I don't know. It came to me. I said Enya, but I was thinking Enigma. I'm curious about the other 8 songs. I think we'll get an EP. I hope so. Oh, you said Puerto Rican boys make me. Child, don't remind me. I need to stay away from them Puerto Ricans because them boys is dangerous. And you said she said she always loved. And look, if y'all came to New York, you know why. These Puerto Ricans, I don't know what they put in the water, but especially if you go to the Bronx, them boys are dangerous. One search of Brittany Blackout on any site and that isn't Facebook would prove otherwise. If anything, as Gen Z making video essays about it, Addison and Tate wouldn't have a career without that album. Absolutely. That's why I said, like, I said, unless people come out and do discourses on the music, those are the only ones that's really going to keep Britney alive. And I've seen those videos online where people are doing discourses on Britney's music. I need to watch this episode again. Love the comedy. This album is Madonna looking backwards and forwards. It's emotional roller coaster, extremely danceable and beautiful. Wait, what episode? So you love the comedy. Attention to felt what? What's Lij? He said Confessions one felt like an homage. Yeah, this an homage to disco. This album felt personal and more of a dedication to her entire career. Yeah, it felt autobiographical, but also used dance music to tell the story. So yeah, I do agree with that. That Confessions, the first one, felt like it was an homage to disco, all kinds of disco, 70s disco, French disco, like all that disco house, like it's just a lot of those different vibes. Whereas with this record, it definitely feels like it's an introspective and more personal look into Madonna's past, things that had happened to her recently, with all the things she had to deal with, be it the death of her stepmother, the death of her brother, her own mortality, and just so many things. And it's like, what, at this point, I ain't got time to waste. I got to do shit now. I ain't getting any younger. And I feel like that should be a testament to all of us. That is just like, um, don't waste time. Just do what you got to do because tomorrow isn't promised. Life is fleeting. You never know when the grim reaper gonna come knocking on your door and hook and take your ass by hook or by crook to whichever upstairs or downstairs if you believe in that. So whatever, if you got to do it now. So Tension 2 felt like, leftover tracks from Tensions, with the duets being brand new. The only other part 2 that worked was Steps, What the Future Holds part 2. You want to know something? I heard somebody also say, excuse me, that they would think Kylie is going to work with Stuart Price again after this record. I mean, she should, because we love Aphrodite. But I would like Kylie to get back in there with a producer who really knows how to bring the best out of her. I would love to hear Kylie on a Madonna record and Kylie basically go into Madonna's world, because at one point Kylie was someone who did do deeper music. She did get a little artsy with her stuff. If you listen, of course, to Impossible Princess, she's experimented in things throughout her pop career, but she knew that y'all wanted the Can't Get You Out of My Heads and the Padams and all this stuff. So she had to keep giving y'all that, because when she did try to go indie Kylie, y'all wasn't here for it. But so she can go back and channel that piece and bring that into Madonna's world. And I think the collaboration between those ladies, child, it would just break the gay internet. Mm-hmm. I said my favorite tracks: Fragile, Danceteria, School, LES Girl, Love Without Words, and Bizarre. Good for the Soul is the only track I would skip. Maybe Read My Lips because of the rap verse. So yeah, it just seemed like a lot of those too. But that's why I said impressive. And it's the um Good for the Soul is definitely the impressive instant of the album. Although I do like Impressive Instant, particularly with Soulby even more in that song, was when she performs it on the Drown World Tour. That little choreography. What she does when she says, "And the world is spinning, spinning, baby, out of control," and she does that move. So it was like the choreography and everything in there is just everything. That's why I think I like the song also. And then just that dumb piece, I like to singy like a bird on a wingy. It's such a dumb lyric, but I get it. Is because it's all about mood and atmosphere of the song. So we're just being silly. We're playing around. It's. So that's why I like Impressive Instant. Not was a booty album. You said Doja needs to stay in her gaming room and actually put out a good album. Sadly, I think she's in her. I wonder how that tour is doing, because it is supposed to be coming to the Garden in December. So I would say Beyonce is going to enter mother status after Act 3, which will probably be her last hurrah with the amount of cultural relevance she still has. I kind of don't want to listen to the new song. Do you think people just going through the emotions with Beyonce because she's Beyonce, or are they really out here feeling like, girl, can you give us some music that we all genuinely want to listen to? Because no shade, I have not really been feeling. Um, I haven't been feeling what Beyonce's been doing. I mean, Renaissance was cute. Cowboy Carter, chill. She could have paid that shit dust. Hold on, I'm getting a text. Okay. So yeah, but I don't know. It's just the whole thing where you're saying cultural relevance. I just feel like people just keep supporting Beyonce because of what Beyonce gives. But yeah, I need her to. She needs her confessions too moment. No shame. I'm just saying. I started feeling high listening to confessions too. Not high, child. I mean, yeah, yes, child. I was like, not high. But yeah, like, yeah, if it makes you feel a sense of euphoria, then yes, I think that the album is doing its job. You said, but in reality, I was just getting really tired at midnight. Everything in school goes so hard when you're up in the clouds. But no, I don't think she's really fuming. Because first of all, I guess with all that being said, Madonna and Charlie are in a good place. Actually, Charlie said in an interview how she got hooked up in a group chat with a group text, sorry, with Madonna because a friend of hers knew hers was like, you wanna have a conversation with her, and they started texting back and forth. They also did the YSL show, I believe, where they sat front row. It was her, Debbie Mazur, Connor Story looking like a snack. Also, who else was there? It was a bunch of celebrities. Rami Malek was there. It was a bunch of people. All the critics said her music sounds best on the dance floor, and there's nothing wrong at the point in your career staying there. Because watch Mariah eventually just do Christmas albums. Well, she's gonna come out here and keep singing them same tired ass Christmas songs. But look, Mariah brings in $12 million every year with them Christmas songs. So sing away. If that's what's gonna get you some easy coin, I do it too. But Madonna, that's not who Madonna is. Madonna's somebody who always feels the need to make art and create. And it's like, well, yeah, we definitely appreciate her. So I'm definitely curious to see how this whole tour thing is going to work out. I feel like the album as a whole is a night out. She starts at a club, and the end is like coming home, getting ready for bed. I don't even know how I did it. Like the times of like when the sun came up, how I was able to just go home and sleep. I didn't film or take photos of the concert. Hmm. Did you like the Lou Reed reference on Dancing to the Lower East Side? Take a walk on the wild side. Oh yeah, I did hear do 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 do. Yeah, I remember that song. I was like, damn, that song. Yeah, I haven't heard that song in a long time. But yeah, you said the song was about the dolls and was my jam when I was pickled. I saw Lou Reed was credited as a writer on Dancer. Well, yeah, because she took that little piece. Yeah, and I remember that didn't Marky Mark act, didn't he sample that? Remember when Eminem made fun of Marky Mark on TRL? He was like, "We're gonna be one big happy bunch." I was like, Eminem was shady back in the day. I mean, he was Slim Shady. This damn camera keeps moving. Hold on. Like, bitch, stop moving. My favorite match I will always be between Erotica or Ray of Light, even when I'm not feeling honky or pretentiously spiritual. It's a potentially spiritual for me. Those albums still are in my heavy rotation. I know. I said the same thing. I was like, girl, tell us how you really feel. Child, don't even mention Gaga. It's like talking about MJ or Prince and comparing. And remember when Justin Timber twat went in and threw shade at Michael and Prince? I'm like, sir, if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't have a solo career. Because one, you reheated Michael's leftover nachos on Justified, because those were leftover Michael Jackson tracks that he didn't want. And you try to throw shade at Prince because Prince said sexy back. Sexy never left. And Prince didn't have to try hard to be sexy. He just was. Our legendary women just aren't held up on that pedestal, or it meant held up. Our legendary women just aren't held up on that pedestal the way they should. Absolutely, and that's where we got to come in and do the lifting. That's what I do on my show. I always try to uplift the icons, that came before, because a lot of times the children don't know, or if they don't know, now you know, because I'm telling you. I don't want to come across as preachy, but I'll just say it in, in the way I'm saying it here. I mean, it was Graham Norton who said in the BBC interview that Madonna has never gotten deep in. Oh, was it him? Because she didn't mention who it was in the TikTok thing. Where it's like you never really got deep. Maybe I must have missed that part because I did see that Madonna Graham Norton interview once, and it was at late at night, and I might have dozed off when I watched it because I think what I was trying to do was I was trying to watch it before it disappeared off of YouTube, which they ended up doing, which is why I never got to really do my reaction video to it and post it on Patreon. So I was like, damn, Graham, you don't really know Madonna like that because she has gotten deep in her music. But thank you for the reminder because, sometimes I'll say stuff and I can't remember everywhere I hear stuff. He said Lizzo had the crap album cover with herself. like she was sitting on her own finger, right? She was fingering herself. That's what it was giving. Yeah, that's why I said Enigma. Because I was like, wait, it's not Enya. As I started humming singing the part that was from there, I was like, wait, that's Enigma. I used to listen to them a lot when I was growing up too. Yeah, Return to Innocence. That was the name of the song. Thank you. I'm glad y'all be knowing who I be talking about. Dance to Betrayal, Fragile, Elias Girl, a peak songwriting from Madonna. Definitely you hear like the lyrical strength in there. Also, I don't know if I mentioned, but when I listened to Love Sensation, I don't know if I mentioned it, but Bright Light did a version of Love Sensation at the piano, and you can see it on his Instagram. And I didn't realize, wait, hold on, maybe I should bring it up for y'all. Because when I heard it, I was like, I didn't really pay attention to the lyrics like that. And I felt like it felt much deeper in, it just brought out the lyrics a whole lot more. So let me go over to Instagram and see if I can pull that up. Bright Light times 2. I'm like, is it there or did he just post it in his stories? Because I don't see it on here. Hold on, let me see if I could. Yeah, I don't know if he has it in here. But he said favorite track from each Madonna album. I know I should have had this prepared earlier, but this literally just came to me. Yeah, well, anyway, I saw that. Maybe I need to scroll down a little further, but I was like, where is it, bitch? It'd have been great to play it up on here too. See, I could have heard that version. But yeah, when I heard him do the cover of that, I was like, I would love to have Madonna play like a stripped down version of Love Sensation. And then you don't realize like once you strip away a lot of the those four to the floor beats or whatever, and I'm like, wow, paying attention to the music, it definitely gives a sense of there's something deeper here. And that's why I think Madonna's approach to dance music has always been like my favorite because I feel like a lot of artists don't really take the time to get in depth or deep with, oh yeah, the dance music, yeah, that's gonna get your butt shaking and all this other stuff. But also don't be afraid to get deep or get connected or to let other people in. I love Enigma. I remember me and Copa sampled William Orbit's Justify My Love remix. Speaking of which, I need somebody to leak some of them Honey Dijon remixes of Madonna's music because some of the songs and stuff that I've been hearing from her, I'm like, bitch, can you release that? Or Madonna put it on that EP. Do we need a remix version of? Well, you know what? I actually wouldn't mind a Confessions remix, but I also like to hear, excuse me, those other unreleased tracks. I feel like she should do the unreleased tracks and also Confessions remixed. And then add some of them remixes that Honey Dijon has been doing of Madonna's new stuff and old stuff and put it out there. I hope somebody out there is listening. If somebody who knows MadonTa, Spread that to her. It's kind of like I gave Eric Alon that idea about the hats thing. That's my somebody send that to Warner Brothers and I'm like, yeah, put out a Madonna's remix album or Confessions remix, and we get the EP that'll be a companion to Confessions 2 of the songs we haven't gotten and that sort of thing. He said, I think she'll be on the yeah. I'm thinking that because I know a lot of people was expecting her to be on the new album. I wasn't expecting her to be on the new album based on the way that I've been watching these interviews and following along. I knew she wasn't going to be on the new album, but I was like, yeah, she's probably going to be on the other stuff down the line. I think this is my favorite album that has come out this year, but I will wait until Earth Eater and Kalila's albums come out this month. But Confessions 2 is by far one of the greatest albums right now. I agree. I'm looking forward to the Earth Eater album. I know Adam Lambert also has an album coming out next week, so I'm looking forward to that. There's a lot of good music and stuff coming out soon. Also, we got Icona Pops coming out with stuff. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna start doing is listening to more records and doing those videos for the Patreon. Good for the Soul could be a latter day George Michael dance track. I think also I'm gonna start getting into yeah. I miss George Michael. It would have been nice to see him still around and still making music. Um, I think I'm even start doing TV show reactions. So I'm thinking maybe with Drag Race, I'm gonna start doing reaction videos to those. B Day is having its 20-year anniversary this September. That was one of her best records. Confessions 2 is definitely in my top 3 albums this year with Slater and Olivia. I was about to say that. I'm like, child, first of all, I ain't never listened to an album so much since Slater's Worst Girl in America. Now, when Worst Girl in America first came out, and I still will put it on like maybe once a week. When that album came out, that was the first album this year that it was like I listened to it, immediately had to put it on again. And then after that, I kept having to listen to it every day. It's just that fucking dance song. I don't know what it is, but it's just like that doom, doom, doom. And then it goes, and then when it like builds and then that beat kicks on, I'm like, I feel like I want to be on a stripper pole. I was like, that's why I was just like, I just love that song. And it's that whole album as a whole. I'm just so glad that Slater finally found her stride and people are finally starting to pay attention to her. Olivia, I have not been listening to as much, but I do like the new album. And I'm not even a big Olivia fan, but I do like this record. It's funny, I like this record more so than her earlier stuff. I've just started I Am Beyonce after all the Jay-Z stuff that's went down. I'm a fan, but not her biggest fan or anywhere near Beehive. I was just like, if Beyonce put out a new record, I will listen to it. I'll get into it. But to be honest, I'm more or less I like Solange's stuff more than Beyonce because I always felt like Solange she would never be as big of a star as her sister, and I don't know if that's what she wanted, but it allowed her to be a little more creative artistically, and I think that's what I loved about Solange. She's like, I'm gonna take this different route. Beyonce could be the big pop girly or whatever and rule the world to be the dominating force, but at least I get to go over here. I can do the smaller venues. I can do all these little festivals, and I get to be my crazy, wild, creative self that separates me from what my sister's doing. You want to know something? When Beyonce was out here promoting that, taking out them locks for her husband and doing his hair and the way she was talking about Blue and that whole situation, when I'm listening to this, when I'm listening to the voiceover, I'm like, why does she sound like a robot? Like Beyonce just sounds like that. Like she has, there's nothing but like this. It's just nothing behind the shell. I'm like, is she a Stepford wife? Is she a robot? Is she not human? Like that's what it be given. And so when I was, that's just how I feel about the whole situation. I'm gonna just move on, but because I'm like, Beyonce don't seem like her self or whatever. It just seems like she's a shell of herself. It kind of hurt my heart to see how much pain there is between Madonna and Lola. Hopefully they worked it out. I mean, I just felt a little tension when during the TikTok thing, and then Bob the drag queen was talking about how Madonna lost her mother, and then her brother and her stepmother, and how she had her bout with mortality, and she said something or another, not yet, and like she hadn't, died or whatever. And then Lola didn't like that all that much. She was just like, "Don't, please don't do that." I was like, "Oh, she don't." I mean, like, look, when you facing death, the best thing you can do, I guess, is make a joke of it. That's how some of us deal with tragedy, is through making light of it or a joke or whatever. And Lola just seemed like she was just dead serious. Maybe it's because she's in her 20s. These people in their 20s, they think life is so hard. They loosen up a little bit when they get older. So she's in this whole I don't give a fuck phase, like very snobby or whatever. Good for the Soul could have been a Kylie track. Yeah, I could definitely see that, but it works for Madonna. Do you care about Taylor's? No, I don't. I just know a lot of people are sorry. Look, I said what I need to say the other day. I feel for the people in the neighborhoods, the bars and everything that had to shut down, that businesses couldn't get people in them because of the traffic and the shutting down the blocks and making it hard for cars and people to get around, and also because of the police checkpoints and everything. I do get, like, I do get what the sentiment of people. Why is it that she could have went anywhere and did this thing? I know people talk about security, this, that, and the other. She could have hired the same amount of security to kind of hide all of the things, and she didn't want people to get photos or whatever. It just feels more like a spectacle. And then on top of that, yeah, I just got an email from my job and found out, what do we get? Oh, Quentin Dolan has now been named the president, COO, and alternate governor of the New York Rangers. So he's literally going to oversee uh, the Rangers and its AHL affiliate, the Harvard Wolfpack, and also I think he's going to be looking into like what's going on with the Knicks and all other stuff too. So that was the news we got today. I don't know if his father is still going to be as involved. He probably will, but I think what the thing is, Jim ain't getting any younger. So having his sons there, and his sons is cool though, because I've met them, and when I've had to work certain sections, they was in my section. So so I mean, they're cool people and everything, but um it'll be interesting to see how this new season everything's going to work out. Because let me tell you, while the Knicks did their thing and we all celebrate them, the Rangers could use a hell of a lot of help in regards of their upcoming season. So hopefully they can get out of this shithole that they've been in as of late. But I know the younger players I've noticed for the Rangers, they've definitely been stepping it up, and hopefully with the Knicks win, that the Rangers have been pretty much inspired to want to, So yeah, to answer your question, I don't care about Taylor Swift. I'm just glad the shit is over. Um, and now New York can get back to some sense of normalcy. I just felt bad, like I said, for the bars and everything. Also, this is Fourth of July weekend. There's some seamen in town. It's not Fleet Week. Fleet Week was in May, right? So we have some sailors in town, some seamen who are looking to get seamaned. So, um, and then here you go fucking up. And look, and we already got traffic issues and shit in New York. It's already hard to get around certain checkpoints in New York, and you making it worse because you want to have your little vanity project called the wedding. Just wasted billionaire. And look, I know some of y'all be like, but she donated money. She do it. They knew to do all of that to try to shut us the fuck up, and people still complain. So your little $20 million donation, while it's great for you to do things with the food banks and all this stuff, people still don't care. You still inconveniencing New Yorkers, and that's what they're like. I don't give a fuck about her damn charities. You inconveniencing me. I got places to go and things to do, and that's one of the things about New Yorkers. That's all we care about. How we getting from point A to point B. We don't care if the Pope is in town. We don't care if Jesus Christ came down in town and shut down Times Square. I got somewhere to be. Why do I have to go around? So that's how we do out here. So I used to interview people for a living, and let me tell you, Madonna is a pro. She smells feel like a dog. Well, that's that Leo in her. And it was mentioned in the interview, and I've done, we got something in common because I've well, maybe you don't know, but I have interviewed people too. A lot of drag race girls, things of that nature. I realize for the most part, I don't like the whole interview thing. unless I'm genuinely curious. But I do it because I want to, but now I do it because I want to help other people get who don't have those opportunities get their stuff out there. So, but yeah, Leo's very much, my father's a Leo, so I totally get it. And Leos can be very intimidating, and they definitely smell blood like a shark in water. So, Graham Norton did feel very timid, and that's you need somebody. Yeah, was I the only one? Somebody said, "Where is Kurt Loder?" Because Kurt Loder used to really, whenever Madonna had stuff going on, especially because like she pretty much likes to be very guarded when it comes to her artistic how she does things, like the behind the scenes and making music and her art, her process, I guess is the word. But those of us who are music nerds, we're definitely interested in that. I'm always wanting to know, like, if I love a record, I want to know. I don't want to know everything, but I want to know what inspired you. I want to know how the sauce is made, actually. So I'm always genuinely curious in that standpoint. And so you needed somebody that can actually go toe to toe. Because remember when Madonna was doing the making of Ray of Light, and Kurt Loder went with MTV cameras behind the scenes, and they was recording. I forget what the original name for it was, but it was Skin, I believe. And then it had a different name on it, and she crossed it out. And then she was in the studio recording it, and then they were working on different stuff, and that made it, and him really getting into getting certain things out of her when she was being like, why do you want to know this? And he would find ways to get it out of her. We need people that could do that. Like, you got to be able to walk in that room and not be intimidated, regardless of who it is. Because that was the thing Lola said. She was like, a lot of people found my mom intimidating, but when it came to them collaborating, it was like it was a no-brainer. Like, one of the things I'm not is intimidated by my mother. They're very much two strong-willed women, and I think that's probably why they butted heads. Is the fact that Lourdes wants to do what she wants to do, and her mother probably has an idea what she wants her daughter to do, and they kind of, you butt heads with that when you're both strong-willed. But as Madonna thought, when you raise your kids to be strong-willed people, you should know that you can't gag when they give you that when they give that back to you because that's how you raise them. Not Graham is the same man that topped another man in Oh Child. I remember seeing a Not Another Gay movie in the movies. You said, "Oh, I played Worst Girl Till Death. Saint Loser is still my most streamed song." Yeah, oh, I love that song. One of the things I was mad about is that I don't know if it was just me, but when I was listening to that album on Apple Music, whenever I would listen to Saint Loser, the first maybe 30 seconds, it would skip to the next song. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I don't know if it was maybe it was the way that they uploaded the thing and it was an issue with the song, or it might have just been and I was in an area with a thing, but I'm like, first it couldn't have been the like technical or the whatever. It couldn't have been that because I'm like, it happens every time. Now it's fixed. It's no issue. So I was like, oh, so that's what the rest of the song sounds like. And then I actually loved the first. So the first time I actually got to hear the song in full without the skipping because it would piss me off was when she performed it at Coachella. I would love to see a reaction to the All Stars 11 finale on Patreon. Let's just say they booted Kennedy so they could flesh the storyline between Akira and Silky. Is Crystal getting favoritism? There's so much I want to say on that because without spoilers. So I do think that what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wait until the finale and do a, a reaction to the All Stars 11 finale and just do that. So yeah, you just gave me an idea. I was thinking about that, but you saying it, it's confirmation. And I was like, it's too late now. But I'm gonna do. Yeah, it definitely feels like they're trying to do the whole Silky thing. And then I saw Kennedy Davenport threw some shade at the other Kennedy, Jasmine Kennedy, which you'll see on Roscoe's. That clip is floating around online. To my, she was being messy. The Davenports are Davenporting. hmm And we love her for it. Sandcastle Disco is one of my favorite salon songs. I like that whole album where that song comes from. You said not even trying to sound like a smartass, but Beyonce reading out loud in that secret voice and this recent challenge on All Stars. Apparently not. They say reading is fundamental, but child, I became a bigger fan of LaRue after that hour long set. Let's just say if you work at the MSG shows, get ready because outside Hillary Duff Bulletproof had the 20,000 amphitheater singing loud. Well, yeah, I feel like that's no shade. That's like the only good song from LaRue. I've tried to get into their other stuff, but it just wasn't hitting. Maybe I need to revisit LaRue again. But yeah, Bulletproof was like their biggest hit. It's mind blowing that the younger generations are exhausted by the fact that the album is over. Don't even get me started. You over there talking about the younger. You're mad because a song is an hour. I was like, what? So you don't have an hour of your time where you can get into music? Records don't need to be 30 minutes, 22 minutes. Like the fuck. And that's what I love about this record. Madonna was like, I'm not concerning myself with when I'm in the studio, I need to be creating, I need to be writing, I need to be making music for what it is. I don't need to be in the studio worrying about algorithms and all that other stuff. And I think that's what's really frustrating a lot of people is that she's not at the mercy of tech algorithms, even though technology definitely plays a part in what you do creatively. But the whole worrying about algorithms and all that mess. I was like, I don't care about that. And the album's still doing success without the help of these stupid algorithms that Gen X created. I wish Taylor could have made this less of a troublesome for the people around MSG. Love her down, but add this to the list of reasons why people don't mess with Beyonce Knowles. Congratulations on the ring. Yeah, I mean, talk about tone deaf. And it's about, well, she's a New Yorker. No, she's not. Now, is it the same thing as saying like what do I believe agree with that thing Jennifer Lopez said about what makes a New Yorker? No, I do not believe you have to be born in New York to be considered a New Yorker. To me, I feel like Taylor Swift, yes, she comes to New York and she has a place here and stuff, but has she done all the things to truly engulf herself in New York culture? I don't get that from her. I would say Kevin Bacon is more of a New Yorker than she is. And Kevin's from Philly and been living here for 50 years. And how I noticed, because I saw a video earlier on Instagram where he was saying, yeah, I've been here for 50 years, and was showing like all the different stomping grounds, how he packed the suitcase, left, stayed with his sister on her cat because she lived on the Upper East Side, I believe he said. He stayed on her couch for a couple of months while he found his own apartment, showed the building where his first apartment was, then was shown off the little spots and stuff that he worked at as a waiter, and then went to this part of Central Park where he was like that. Yeah, when he would walk through Central Park and stuff, and they were the people out here roller skating and stuff, and how the kids would take their boom boxes and they found a little thing in the little light post at the bottom. I don't know how they do it, but they do it. And I was like, oh my god, this is taking me back. Where they will plug the boom box into the light post and we be blasting like Sugar Hill Gang and all different types. I said, not him taking that. So that's what to me makes a New Yorker, someone who comes here and engulfs a lot of our culture and becomes a part of it. She thinking she could just buy her way and shit and it makes her a New Yorker. That's not how New York works, is. You just spending money. You just adding to the New York economy and paying taxes. But when you engulf yourself in a lot of the things we do here, instead of just trying to think, oh, I'm gonna wear a Stevie Nicks and spell like the Knicks on the shirt, that makes you New York. No, sis. Sit in front row and dry humping Mariska Hargitay does not make you a New Yorker. Anytime somebody hit a goal, well, a goal. Well, yeah, a goal. 3-point goal. Hit a goal on the Knicks side. I don't know. I was just thinking 3-point goal, Carl Anthony Towns. You know how people be saying when you go to the Knicks games. So on TikTok, you know what? I'm glad Kanye interrupted speech. That's funny. But then again, if Kanye never interrupted her speech, would she be as big as she is now? Because remember, when she won over Beyonce, nobody was really paying attention to Taylor like that. It was just MTV doing what MTV does. And then Kanye got tight because he was drinking all that damn whiskey, sitting next to that bald headed, golf head shaped looking bitch, Amber Rose. Oh, sorry, Amber Hose. And then went up there and said what he said. So maybe if he didn't interrupt her, we wouldn't be talking about Taylor the way we talking about her now. So in a way, I feel like he kind of blew her up because people was feeling bad for her over what he did. They played it up, oh, the black guy messing with the poor little white girl. And we already knew that narrative, and then it made people want to like, okay, so who is this girl? Let's start paying attention to her music. I feel bad saying this, but some of the variants are kind of ugly. The yellow cover is no, you shouldn't feel bad saying it because to be honest, I've been kind of feeling that too. I have not been liking a lot of the color palettes on this whole era in regards of I'm not saying like with the outfit she's wearing, but just like the overall color sheen over it. I haven't been liking the some of the colors too. I'm like, this is looks colorful and looks. Do I really need to go here? This might. Hopefully, he's not watching. But one of the things I remember when I had a producer EJ and he would make these color fonts or whatever for my show. I hated the bright colors. I didn't say nothing because it was like, oh, he's just taking his time out to do it. So he did it. I hated the colors because I'm like, this looks loud. It doesn't look professional looking. This is not really a representation of me. So that's why a lot of times when it comes to ideas and things, I work with my friend David Laugh, who totally understand. Like he understands me and what it is that I like and all this other stuff. Like when you see this Chris Avalon Unfiltered at the top with the mic and all other stuff, he understood the assignment on what it is, like the little things and nuances and things that I like, and he's really good with that. It's like that's why I can't wait until Alaska finally drops his damn music video for Revolution, so I could do a reaction video to that because he worked on it, and there was some vintage when you see the video, there is this vintage look that went with it that she liked. And she was like, "Can I use this for the full for the video?" And he was like, "Yeah, go ahead." And he also tells me Alaska pays well. So shout out to her. I always gotta big up the girls that really be out here paying because I could be shady and reveal some of you bitches that don't pay. But I'm gonna keep that to myself. So but yeah, shout out to Alaska. So I can't wait till she finally releases that video so I can respond to it and see it and give my overall thoughts. And yes, I'm being biased because my friend worked on it. So it's like I know one bar wants his money because instead of 150 patrons, only 6 people came to a bar, and he was forced to shut down. Everyone around the garden had to close, and they want money because of lost profit. Yeah, because I'm like, a lot of the bars in the area be full. Like I told you, there's this bar that's a sports bar that's literally across from Madison Square Garden on 8th Avenue, and I think it's 33rd, 31st. Might be, yeah, might be 31st or 30. I can't remember, but it's a little sports bar there, and they have like a little rooftop setting, and in this type of weather, you want to be outside drinking and things. I sure do. I like sophisticated. I mean, hence the shirt. You said Madonna is a New Yorker, even though, yeah, Madonna definitely is a New Yorker because when she came here with $35 in her pocket. Some people say, when did she come here? 78 or 79. I mean, the lines is blurred in regards to that. It's questionable. She came here in the 70s, let's just say that, late 70s. And with a little bit of money in her pocket, told the cab driver, drop me off in the center of everything, which was Times Square. And she literally stayed out here and pounded the pavement and made it work because she tried to be a dancer and then got into music and house hustling, meaning like she was homeless, sleeping in all these different abandoned buildings and stuff, and did what she had to do to make it as a superstar. And when you do that and then and stick it out through, of course, all the craziness that was happening in New York in the late 70s and the 80s, because it was no, I mean, from what I've heard stories, that it was no joke. Because I was born, like, I'm a child of the 80s and 90s. So living in that whole time frame, I don't remember all the things that happened around. I was an infant. So hearing the stories from people and excuse me, and then and hearing like how bad it was and how dangerous it was to live in New York. I remember there was a time when we were supposed to go away for the weekend. Me, my brother, my sister, me, my brother, and sister, me, my mother, well, me, my father, and my sister went to the store. I think it was Met Food over there in Brownsville, Brooklyn. Went to the store to pick up some things because we were gonna put it in my father's car, his very first car, who he named Betsy. Mama was like, they breaking in the car, yelled it from the window. Left me with the groceries, my sister and my father, because my sister ran track, left the groceries with me on the floor while they ran after the motherfucker. That was the days of Brooklyn. And that was when I was little. So I remember that. And that was like in the late 80s going into the 90s. Because it wasn't until like mid 90s that we left Brooklyn and we moved on up to the suburbs in Queens. So, and I was like 13 around that time. So those are the memories. They said they counted that only two versions of the vinyl LPs was a deluxe 2 LP set. I'm ordering the picture disc that I liked and this CD, what is it, the 2 CD version of the 2 LP deluxe set. That's a lot. That was a mouthful. I like the grinder one and the deluxe cover. The pink and purple and gray is appealing to the sound design. Nothing about this album screams mustard yellow. He said, I say every generation gets the icons they deserve. This generation has Taylor Swift. There is no sex, fashion, or politics going on. I mean, this generation just like, yeah, they way more conservative. And that's why I think one of the articles that funny enough, that was a great segue, was one of the articles that I came across basically talks about, the Arianas and the, what do you call it? They talk about the Arianas and the Taylors and stuff and how they kind of take more of a safer approach, whereas that has never been Madonna's MO. So speaking of that, let's get into that story that I came across. So the article over on the conversation said Confessions 2 Why Madonna Still Matters. So every time she releases a new album, journalists and social media commentary insist that Madonna is over. They are usually eventually proven wrong. This debate has emerged again how Madonna is on the promotional circuit for her new album Confessions 2. Despite the positive response to the music released so far, she is drawing controversy for her appearance and performances. Surprise. Now, Madonna's contribution to music was never simply the hit records. It was demonstrating that a woman at the center of popular culture could have an audacity that matched any applauded male rock star. Now, just as it was back in the 80s and the early 90s, that quality feels scarce in contemporary mainstream pop music. There are many more female artists in the 2020s, but there is no one as iconoclastic as Madonna, more than 40 years on from her debut. That is not to say today's pop female artists lack talent. Quite the opposite. Popular music is filled with extraordinary singers, writers, and performers. See Sabrina Carpenter, Taylor Swift, Ariana Grande et al. They are well oiled, slick, inoffensive, and easy to imagine the parental approval of teenage fans. Madonna built her career by refusing precisely that approach. Now, from 1984's Like a Prayer until the present day, she has made art that potentially jeopardized safe commercial success that became culturally significant because of its audacity. Some people did not perform as expected. Or sorry, some projects did not perform as expected. 2019's Madam X did not connect with many. Some attracted furious criticism. 2005's Hung Up created a cultural debate about the age of sexism in early 2000s music. Others were misunderstood for years before being reassessed. 2003's American Life was ahead of its time with its critique of George W. Bush and early noughties U.S. society. The point is not that every provocation succeeded artistically. It is that she accepted the possibility of failure as the price of remaining culturally significant and having the audacity to say something beyond the solid harmonies and fantastic melodies. Madonna had a message and meaning. And I think that is literally what I've been saying that we get it from a lot of her music, but we're getting it more so, I feel like, in a cohesive way. It's like a well packaged deal via Confessions 2, where it's like it's not about just solid harmonies, fantastic melodies, and that you could shake your ass. Anybody can do that. Anybody can just give you a bop for the algorithms or be a hit on the radio. But it's like one of the things Madonna's always said that's resonated with me, because when people always say about, oh, she's not a great singer, this and the other, she was like, I never stated that I was the most fabulous singer in the world or the most fantastic singer. I do what I do because I have something to say. And I think that's why she stands out, is because anybody can sit up here and hit a note, a perfect note. And I've always liked singers who are not afraid to show imperfections in their singing because it shows a sign of vulnerability or whatever the case is. But if there's a deeper message there, if you have something to say that could resonate with not just me, but so many other people, I feel like that to me is what makes really good pop music, because pop has always been seen as a dirty word. And I don't think it's a dirty word. I don't think it's something that's a negative that people should look at. She brings depth to it, and I think that's where there's a lot of girls that follow in that, and that's that sensibility. Now they said for women's now the music industry has never been especially comfortable with women exercising power over both their image and their business. Female artists continue to encounter double standards around aging, sexuality, and ambition that male performers rarely experience. Madonna did not dismantle these structures. Instead, she repeatedly exposed them. The imagery from the Confessions 2 album shows Madonna in outfits she would have worn 35 years ago, and her refusal to acquiesce to society's views of what a 68-year-old woman should wear is exactly the reason she has an army of female fans supporting her and why she matters. It isn't the simple fact that she's a woman and improves the quota of female artists. It is the fact that she is a woman with opinions and a provocative mind that matters. Now here's where we get into her importance to queer audiences. Now, long before Libidiqua plus, that's LGBTQ plus, for those you don't get the reference if you're here for the first time, Libidiqua identities gained mainstream acceptance. Madonna treated queer culture as a source of artistic innovation and fought for the community. She employed queer dancers, collaborated with queer creatives during the AIDS crisis, and brought elements of queer ballroom culture into mainstream visibility through Vogue. Those choices have since generated important debates about appropriation and cultural credit, particularly regarding the Black and Latino communities that created ballroom culture. Those criticisms deserve serious attention, but they should not obscure the fact that Madonna used unprecedented levels of mainstream visibility to perform queer aesthetics and queer people to audiences who might otherwise never have encountered them. Now, 35 years on, and her Confessions 2 album is positioned directly to her gay audience. Sona was mad because she was all over Grinder, but whatever. I mean, just scroll on by and find your next piece of trade. The project is sponsored by queer dating app Grinder, and she is tapping into Pride Month performances to launch the record. This strategic partnership with Grindr is a first for the music industry, and given the salacious perceptions of the app and the music videos and performances so far, it is clear this album is audaciously using a sex sales strategy for a 68-year-old female artist with a large gay audience. This is quintessential Madonna, and her gay audience is loving it. Well, I heard some people ain't liking it, but whatever. You'll be all right. I was like, some people were like, well, stop convenience me. I don't want to be seeing you a level of Grinder when I'm looking for people. I'm like, how can y'all even find somebody to look for when Grinder has now become this thing where you gotta, if you're not paying for it, because that ain't more money. You got to deal with the countless ads or whatever. That's why I deleted. And then I also heard somebody shadily say, watch Lady Gaga with her next album. She do a deal with Scruff. I said, I wouldn't be surprised. And now they want to go on to mention why she matters more than ever. Every moral panic surrounding her career revealed less about Madonna herself than about society's anxieties about female autonomy. Whether discussing gender, religion, sexuality, material consumerism, or aging, she has both ignited and contributed to society and culture's big conversation. In her recent interview with Graham Norton for the BBC, and we know it's about Big Bad Cock, her audacious nature shows no signs of slowing down. She persistently pushed back on his questions and was quite clear when she did not want to answer. It is rare to see anyone be so confident and assured in her own skin. Many would want to appear likable and hope for a positive reception, so the audience will be warmed up to buy the record. But Madonna is less polished pop star and more confident rock star. Her answers felt more like those of Ozzy Osbourne, Johnny Rotten, and Liam Gallagher in their swag and attitude. Not every artist should aspire to be Madonna, but every generation needs an iconoclast, someone prepared to risk popularity in pursuit of possibility and to ignite debate and conversation. And that's why we love Madonna, because not only is that, yes, she's a pop star and yes, she makes great music, but she's someone who is not afraid to start a debate, to touch on sensitive topics that a lot of people don't want to touch because they're so busy on, oh, well, just shut up and perform. That's never been her. She's always been somebody that has always gone against the establishment or pushed back on what is deemed normal in society. And that's what I feel like makes you more of a rock star than a pop star. So, yeah, aesthetically, on the surface, she makes pop music. But when Madonna gets on that stage, she is through and through a rock star. So, they also finish it up in closing to say you might love her or hate her, but in an age increasingly governed by algorithms, metrics, and carefully managed authenticity, that may be Madonna's most relevant legacy of all. Queer infused female audacity. There is no one like her, and she is needed now more than ever. Absolutely. So when y'all be telling her she need to go away, well, if any of your faves was on the level of what Madonna was doing, we wouldn't need we wouldn't need to have her around. But we realize how much she is needed when she's around. So shout out to the queen. Also, I was like, then they also had this one, why she will be always mother superior to the homosexual fans. Um, where they were saying Madonna basically teaches the gays on how to survive. Now, I said an ongoing theme throughout Madonna's music has always been love, romantic love, forbidden love, and I love both versions of forbidden love, spiritual love, love for music, love for your family, love for yourself, even when she's provocative. There's intention behind it. A lesson. Express yourself taught us we never have to settle. Human nature taught us to stop apologizing for who we are. Yeah, because she said, I'm not your bitch. Don't hang your shit on me. I always live for that line. Vogue showed queer kids, many of whom felt invisible everywhere else, that we could create our own world, our own pose, our own beauty. Madonna has never asked us to ignore the darkness. She taught us how to dance through it. And for a lot of queer people, especially those without accepting parents or safe homes, that kind of guidance matters more than some people realize. Madonna became a mother figure, not because, and that's why she is mother. When people say, what makes someone a mother? I feel like this is probably what will answer your question. Madonna became a mother figure not because she was perfect, but because she's consistently showed up for us. During the AIDS crisis, when much of the world treated queer people like disposable headlines or no headlines at all, Madonna used her platform loudly and without hesitation. She brought queer dancers, culture, sexuality, and grief directly into the mainstream at a time when doing so could genuinely damage a career. Instead, she doubled down. The fearlessness is part of why generations of Leviticua plus people continue to see themselves in her. And then out goes on to this whole thing about like when they were born into the 80s. What I won't read all that. Now they said now nearly 2 decades later, she's revisiting that era. Confessions, a favorite to many, with Confessions 2, the long-awaited follow-up to her co-produced once again by Stuart Price. At the time of this writing, her album hasn't yet been released. Well, it's out now. But the songs she teased already carry the same pulse, the same feeling, the same invitation back onto the dance floor. And honestly, maybe we need that right now. I know I do. But here's the thing: whenever it comes to like the dark times, especially in the era we're in with this freaking regime in the White House, and I guess there's other parts of the world that they're dealing with their own MAGA S type shit. Where they said dancing through the darkness, dancing through the pain, embracing it instead of running away from it, you fight through it, you dance through it. So um and then it was about that's why songs like I Feel So Free already feel bigger than just another pop single. They feel like reminders, not that the world suddenly isn't messy or frightening, but that joy, especially queer joy, can still be an act of resistance. The gays have always understood that. Dance floors have never just been dance floors for us. They've been a place to grieve, flirt, escape, sweat, connect, become ourselves. Madonna knew that way before corporations figured out how to monetize pride. Oop. You know what I have to say? I live for that line because it's like, yes, that, and I think that's probably why that makes me a househead in a way. Because dance floors have always been a place for me to work out all of my different emotions. When I was going to the club, child, you're gonna make me start going back now. Um, we use the dance floor to grieve, to flirt, to escape, to sweat, to connect, to become ourselves, to just unapologetically just be. And that's what it was all about. It wasn't about just going up and showing out. And I think that's in a way that makes her mother. So, and also Madonna's not afraid to evolve. And not afraid to abandon us either, because like when she does show up, people are like, oh, she only doing that because she got something wrong with it. I was like, so what is it? Like you get mad when they don't show up for us, and when they do show up, it's always something else. So You can't get caught up in all the bullshit. So yeah, I think that's what makes her mother. So let me get through more of these comments, and then I also have another article regarding Stuart Price, where um he actually talked about the making of the record and him and Madonna collaborating. That was over on Attitude, had that article. Okay, so let's see what the rest of y'all are saying because we got more comments. The girls, look, um, if Travis Kelsey wanted to marry Napoleon Dynamite in drag, that's on him. If you like it, I love it. The girls and gays love See You Next Tuesday, which Madonna get. Yeah, we like pussy. We like cunt, feeling like pussy, feeling like cunt, feeling like pussy, feeling like cunt. Shout out to Gia Gunn. The New York Times also put a good essay slash article. Madonna has become the avatar for our fear of aging. I do agree with that because you want to know something. Oh yeah, I didn't get that one, so I didn't get to read it because I didn't know about the New York Times. Well, maybe I did. It was just so many articles coming around, but I did save a couple of articles to read on here because I knew it was gonna be. I was like, what could we possibly talk about? I didn't just want to just come in, give my thoughts, and just reading stuff, which we've been doing. I wanted to also add a little extra nuance to the thing too. But I do agree with her becoming an avatar for our fear of aging because yeah, it's something we think about as somebody like myself who was in his mid 40s. When you're told, especially in the gay community, that I mean, I haven't been told I'm too old or whatever. I mean, there have been people that made little comments at me on social media, but I get called daddy and things like that. I guess I'm in daddy phase at this point, which is kind of a compliment because that's how I get to pull all the little young ones, not the one, not underage because I don't do that, but like the 25 and up. um, when it comes down to it's like, yeah, at first I was, but when you but if you take good care of yourself, if you still feel youthful in a lot of ways, it's like, yeah, it's inevitable. I gotta embrace getting older, and I've always said it gets greater later. So if people feel like you should stop doing certain things career wise because you're a certain age, Madonna's proven that's some bullshit. You don't have to give up on being creative or putting out whatever at any age. Like you had Carlos King run up there to my, I don't want to hear new music from this Anita Baker or whatever the case is. I'm sure Anita Baker and Madonna's around the same age. And my thing is, if you don't have it in you to create new shit, then don't do it. But if you're an artist, you have the ability to come out with something you want to create, continue. Don't listen to these people that don't do what you do. I also never looked at the independent ranking of her 40 best song because I thought it would be a topic. But look, this is why I should have said in the future, if y'all had some stuff that y'all wanted me to look at, then I would have brought it up. I'm like, does that thing exist? Maybe I'll look it up. Oh, they have her best song. Oh, this was 6 days ago. Well, shit. Well, since you brought it up, we'll go through it. But let me get through these comments and stuff. Yeah, we'll add it to the doc. We'll add it to the docket. We'll add it to the docket. The docket. I was not expecting this video to be over 2 hours, but here we are. Chris, I thought Madonna and Kylie were supposed to have a song together. Well, well, not on this one. People believe it's going to be on. She has 8 more songs that she didn't release. I do believe there will be a collaboration there. Funny enough, the collaboration probably happened around the time when they did the Graham Norton thing. Like she said on Sins of My Savior, they tried to take me down. They tried to take my crown. They whispered lies. When Taylor tries to be sexy, it just comes across as cringy. Can you imagine what they night in the bed, like their consecration night is going to be like? After they done got married. The most empowering icons don't just seem powerful themselves. They lend a sense of, and so can you. And Madge does that. Yeah, it's like if I can do it, then you can do it. They don't feel like a sense of, oh yeah, I'm untouchable. She's like, I'm just, yeah, I may be the most, I may be the biggest pop star on the planet, but I'm just like you. I bleed, I have emotions, I have fears, I have, I go through all the things you do, and if I can do it, you can do it. And I think that's what I've always liked about her, is that she gives you a sense of hope. So yeah, it's like, yeah, if I could do it, then so can you. You said this is Madonna's second time partnering with Griner. She did a contest during the Rebel Heart tour to win tickets. I haven't listened to it yet, but claps for Madonna, because a lot of the promotion I see for the album really does give something specific for the LGBT plus community, and we need more champions out in public in these current American time. And she always comes back to the community because she knows like her biggest and most loyal supporters is the gay community, and it feels authentic. Whereas there's some people it's like, oh, they only want to pander to. It definitely feels like a pander. I mean, I even had some of my comments like, "Why bother drag queen interviewing her?" I'm like, "Why not?" I mean, once upon a time, I did also on my old website. I interviewed Bob the drag queen during his season of Drag Race. Bob is cool, and why wouldn't he interview her? They have a rapport together. They're really good friends, and that was from when they did the Pride event together. And then she had him as her MC on the Confessions tour. No, not Confessions. It was Celebration tour, where you said Madonna has edge. That's why Taylor Swift ain't a rock star, not even Beyonce. Yeah, Beyonce's a good performer, but she doesn't give me that thing that that extra. I mean, don't get me wrong, she's on that level of like icon, like a Madonna, where she comes out, she commands the stage, great performer, good songs. But I ain't gonna hold you. I get bored with Beyonce after a while. Like I said, Madonna, I remember in the early '89s, she would not last 6 months. Madonna is a strong woman that's not being quiet. These conservative men want women to have no power or voice. Exactly. And that's why she is who she is. And if it comes down to it, well, she'll never get married again, it's like, oh well, I'd rather just be out here hunting 29-year-olds, because at least if they want to move on to the next thing, bye. I wasn't born during the erotica era, but I can't help but thank her for helping me not being afraid of having sexual fantasies. Women today are still ashamed of themselves sexually. Absolutely. Do we think that Madonna is doing what we all hoped? What, put out some good music? And this is why I've said so many times, like, what the stuff Madonna's doing, all these ones that we put these female pop stars on such a pedestal, the gay pop stars should be doing this too. But y'all be giving us mediocre ass shit that I can't really get behind. I'm like, where are the producers? Look, if I got to go, if I have to, I'm like, look, if y'all know some good vocal teachers out there, let me get a voice teacher and start writing and doing some music and giving y'all what the gays should be getting. Because I be getting tired. Sometimes I be listening to these gay artists. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? I'm talking about you, Frankie Day. And I like Frankie. I've met him a couple of times. The music ain't it. As a queer kid, I know there was nothing wrong with me because Madonna said so. That's how I felt too. Because she gave me permission to be a faggot. She gave me permission to be a big old queen. A butch queen. Butch queen. Shout out to Paris Dupree. May she rest in peace. Wouldn't that be something if Taylor Swift turns girl? Can you imagine? Like she's all demure, mindful of clothes, but behind the scenes, she a big old freak. Like she wear a strap on and be tearing up Travis Kelsey booty hole. That's what it gives. While she's saying, "Are you ready for it?" Not a crypto beat. What about Boy George? I mean, Boy George back in the day, he had some good songs, but there wasn't really like it was like cute pop songs for the radio. It wasn't somebody out here just being unapologetically themselves and just doing things like Madonna is. She's not like something created in a lab. She is a self-made pop star. Just came out like a bulldozer, just doing her own thing and just blew up and just kept going because the controversy was selling. Okay, so before we get to the Stuart Price thingy me dingy, let's go through this article from the Independent since I know about it and Onyx brought it up. So Madonna, Madge, Mistress Dita, the queen of pop, the queen of working out, the queen of wearing sunglasses indoors and sporting grills on your teeth that make you borderline unintelligible. How dare you? However, you see Madonna, you'll have a favorite and probably least favorite incarnation. Her catalog is enormous, comprising sexy songs and sad songs, political songs and nonsensical songs, and songs that continue to scandalize the clean living and respectable among us. Picking the best is non-impossible, but we've tried to, as she prepares to unveil her 15th studio album, Confessions 2, a sequel to her 2005 disco masterpiece, Confessions on a Dance Floor. We've ranked her top 45 songs released so far, one for each year she's been releasing music. Your faves might be missing. Entire albums could be absent. Don't shoot me. Rebel Heart Stamp. Y'all mad about Rebel Heart? I'm glad you left that shit off. But it speaks to the sheer brilliance of Madonna herself. She's an icon. She's a legend. She is the moment. That's what Wendy Williams said. She is then, now, and forever, always the moment. Okay, so you know what? Instead of me having to read it to y'all, let's just go through the thing as a class so we could all look at it together. Because, like Madonna said, makes the people come together, the bourgeoisie and the rebel. And so let's, as a class, go through it. So, number 45 is Die Another Day. So, Madonna's 2002 Bond theme was thoroughly rinsed upon release because everything Madonna does tends to be a subject of annoying over criticism. I sort of get it with this one, though. Die Another Day is, and as is typical of the woman behind it, an act of total domination. This isn't a 007 song by Madonna, but a Madonna song shoved into 007 movie. Take it or leave it. There are the ingredients of the franchise's sounds here and there, and the dramatic strings of audible moaning, along with things altogether her own. You know what? I'm not gonna hold on. Let's actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this thing back. Let's scroll through the thing and we're just gonna break down the top 10. So we'll do that because I'm like, Chad, I will be here all day going through this freaking list. And I don't want to bore y'all to death with all of that. So we'll just go through the complete list of songs. Okay, so 45, as they said, was Die Another Day. 44, Supernatural, which I don't know if I remember that song off the top of my head, but it was one from a track from like she did back in '89. 43 is Time Stood Still. 42 is I'm Addicted from MDNA. Well, I will say this. I loved I'm Addicted, especially like when she performs it on tour and it has like the martial arts choreography and stuff up in there. And then she was on the lift as they was doing it. So I definitely love that segment of MDNA. Number 41, Papa Don't Preach. We do love that song because she was in trouble deep back in '86 when she recorded it. Number 40, Easy Ride, which I definitely love that song. And now when y'all want to talk about Madonna getting deep, Easy Ride is definitely one of those songs. It basically was a manifesto of her life where she was talking about what I want is to work hard for it, feel the blood and sweat on my fingertips. So, and that was from the American Life album, if I didn't reiterate that already. So yeah, when people talk about she don't be getting deep in her music, Easy Ride is one of them. That was back in 2003. Then we have at 39, I Feel So Free, which we already know that song. 38, Lucky Star. 37, Bedtime Story. I love that song and that expensive ass video. And I'm always a big fan of Nelly Hooper's production. So it was that. 36, I'll Remember. Oh my God, I remember I was obsessed with that song. And I like that Vulcan haircut that she was rocking at the time. And wasn't that a part of wasn't that song used in a movie? I think it was the movie with Brendan Fraser. I can't remember the name of it. Then 35, Hollywood. That's when she started making the jokes about the injections and all that stuff, which she started to go a little overboard with. But that was what she was talking about at the time. So 35 is Hollywood from American Life. 34 is Crazy for You. 33 is Secret, in which at the time we all thought, Madonna, you pregnant? She wasn't, but a lot of people thought that song, which definitely was full of R&B flourishes, but that was about. 32, Music. 31, Burning Up. 30 would be Candy Perfume Girl. I do love that song. I wish that song was a single, but I mean, because it was definitely underrated, especially The lyrics, Young Velvet Porcelain Boy, devour me when you're with me. What is it? Come in window, see, speak delicious fires. Like it was giving, like from the vibe, when you think about it, it was as if Shirley Manson was singing a song produced by the Sneaker Pimps. That's what it was literally giving me when you hear that song. So I liked how experimental she was with that song. And then we have 29 Secret Garden from Erotica. Then we have Future Lovers at 28, 27 American Life, 26 La Isla Bonita, 25 God Control. That video still gives me the chills to this day. 24 What It Feels Like for a Girl, 23 Sorry, 22 Oh Father, another deep cut off of Madonna where she gets deep with the stuff. So when people say that she don't get deep, that's another one. The Power of Goodbye. I love that song, especially the video with Goran Vishnik. First of all, I used to love him on ER. So there's that song, number 20. And now you know I love this song, Thief of Hearts. You'll do it, you'll take it, you'll screw it, you'll fake it. No, that was my song. Still is. Then we have 19 Into the Groove, which, if you see the video for Danceteria, she does reference a callback to Into the Groove, with the hand dryer, which is full of germs in it. I never use the hand dryers in the bathroom, but she used that to kind of, dry off her face. Iconic. Number 18, Justify My Love. Number 17, Live to Tell. Number 16, Material Girl, which we know she hates Material Girl. Number 15, Open Your Heart. Number 14, Beautiful Stranger. Number 13, Drown World, Substitute for Love. Number 12, Like a Virgin. Number 11, Erotica. Okay, and so now we can get into the top 10. Which, did I close it? Oh, yeah, we got it. I can bring it back. Okay, so hold on. I just realized I got to take this out. This is so annoying when I have to do that. Nope, not that. Thank you. Number 10, Don't Tell Me. Okay. Should I keep her that way? No, let's do it this. Nope. Nope. Okay, even better. Well, I'll make it a little bigger so that way people can see it. So, Don't Tell Me, where it said the finest 4 minutes made by MadonTa and her early Y2K collaborator, producer Mirwais Amandazi. 2000s Don't Tell Me is a hazy blur of country folk and electronic futurism. Madonna's vocals and the production around her are relentlessly cut up and halted, like someone attacked the track with scissors. Is arguably Madonna at her most defiant, as if you didn't know by now. Never try and tell her what to do. And then at number 9, we got Frozen, When Your Heart's Not Open. It's sort of baffling that this expansive, ambient, and decidedly non commercial electronic ballad from 1998 was as big as it was. Could you imagine anything dominating the charts with something like Frozen today? Putting that aside, this made staggering. It's a little mystical, a little tribal, and very dramatic. And then at number 8, we have Deeper and Deeper. Love that song and video. An exercise of total blissful abandon at a nightclub. 1992's Deeper and Deeper is a peak Madonna party anthem. It's also majestically arranged. You think you've got the hang of it. Then it suddenly pivots to an extended flamenco bridge, then back to throbbing disco dazzle. And then at number 7, we have Rain. Yes, we want to feel it on our fingertips, feel it on our window pane, because your love is coming down like rain, bitch. Now, doesn't Rain sound expansive? This epic ballad off the Erotica album is only horny if you squint a little. Then again, with its hesitant build and flowing water crescendo, could it actually be its most horny single? Either way, it's a Madonna all-timer with those violent strings and the gorgeous moment where she recites 2 monologues at once, her words colliding with one another like crashing waves. Symbolism. And then we have at number 6, Express Yourself. Or for some of y'all, Born This Way. That it said the video to this 1989 track, directed by her then frequent collaborator David Fincher, is a mini movie in itself and somehow looks more expensive than everything Marvel has produced in the last decade combined. These are skyscrapers, massive dance routines, dozens of extras, costume changes, practical sets, a cat, and the song itself feels like a total celebration of everything Madonna embodied at that point. Total autonomy, total authority, total global dominance. Number five, Like a Prayer, where we got a black Jesus up in the video. And shout out to Leon, because when I worked one of the Knicks games and I was on Celebrity Row, he was actually in my section. So, if not the greatest Madonna song, 1989's Like a Prayer is certainly her most important. Between the track itself and its controversy stoking video, its collision of themes, sex, religion, race, speak to the unique greatness of Madonna herself and how she's always been able to tackle big ideas in commercial packages. That Like a Prayer got her ad campaign for Pepsi axed, an act of censorship that somehow made her even more famous, as she got to keep the 5 million Pepsi had already paid her in case in her case it's case in point. Yeah, because I'd be like, I'd be damned if y'all gonna cancel my shit. At least I'm gonna keep the fucking money, because you're not gonna take that away from me. Then of course, Bad Girl. I love this video because of how cinematic it is. And then of course we had Christopher Walken in there, who was the Grim Reaper. And Miss Thing was getting into some things in this video. So, and speaking of David Fincher videos, there's this one too, a miniature erotic thriller that has the Baroque style. I wonder if this video made them want to cast her in Body of Evidence. Baroque stylings of his Seven, made a few years later and starring Christopher Walken as the angel of death. As I said, obviously it's a masterpiece. Don't overlook the song though. Released in 1992, it's Madonna's greatest ballad and a haunting depiction of depression, melancholy, and big city loneliness. No other Madonna song sounds like it or matches its blend of luxury and devastation. See, look, another deep song that she tackled on her music. Yeah, I'm gonna keep running with that one. Number three, she's hung up on everybody, because we got Hung Up. It's 2005, 23 years into her career, and Madonna unveils this, a thrilling, chugging disco masterpiece based around that transcendent ABBA sample. She just gets it, doesn't she? The sing-along simplicity of the central hook. Every little thing that you say or do, I'm hung up on you. And he said the rise and fall of Stuart Price's production, how it blends and curls and then ascends again. Stunting. Is it cow? What is it? Brown cow stunting or just plain old stunting? Okay, let's get to number two, Ray of Light. Look, Zephyr in the sky at night, she wonders. There's a famous clip of Madonna performing Ray of Light on Oprah, I remember. Winfrey's talk show in 98, like a nocturnal raver bringing the party to a book club, and every single person in the vicinity losing their damn minds. Winfrey is gyrating all over the place at the center of a sea of middle-aged mums leaping. Okay, y'all are British. I didn't even realize that until I read this. Okay, mums leaping up and down in unison. Little else sums up the power of this song, which careens between soft electric guitar and euphoric acid house synths, leaving absolutely nothing on the table. It almost sounds holy, as if Jesus swallowed a pill and saw the entirety of its universe before him, then started shooting laser beams out of his eyes. And funny enough, I did say, I don't know if anybody knew this, but when you listen to the closing song, LES Girls, that is in the beginning, that's actually Ray of Light slowed down. Iconic. Like I said, who needs William Orbit when Stuart Price basically just showed his ass? How's it? And number one, wait, do I got a drum roll? Let me see. I think I might have a drum roll up in here. Hold on. I know I might be a little late with it. We got a drum roll. Do we got a drum roll? Because I could have sworn I had that up in this situation. Trying to find my sound effects. I do have a drum roll. Hold on. This is how I feel like I'm giving y'all. If y'all didn't get it, it was giving very Joey J. Remember when you watched Drag Race and she would go, "Let me find a little sound effect after I told the joke." That's what it's giving. Okay, so number one, bitches, y'all better strike a pose, because number one is Vogue Hunter. And so it sort of had to be, surely, intended as the B-side to a largely forgotten single called Keep It Together. Keep it together, keep it together forever and ever. Then shunted onto the end of Madonna's soundtrack to the wacky Warren Beatty vanity project, Dick Tracy. 1990s Vogue would ultimately prove to be everything majestic, commanding, and breathtaking about Madonna as an artist. This is a blancmange of pure homosexual. Well, they said pure gay. An exhilarating tribute to nightclubbing glamour and the queer underground. It's all there instantly. Those fruity little synth stabs, those glorious finger snaps, Madonna's vocals somewhere between nurturing den mother and mouthy dominatrix. You can't not move to it, bow to it, want to strut and thrust and sing along to it. What an absolute masterpiece, one that's forever imitated but never ever bettered. Well, you should have said never duplicated. Imagine dying in the early days of the 90s and never once getting to hear it. Well, let's say in early days of 1990 and never getting to hear it. It's unthinkable, isn't it? So, yeah, um, there you have it. All those songs, I just realized that it's literally my camera. This camera is working my root canal nerve. Y'all been talking to my stomach and my chest. Anyway, so I want to hear from y'all. What do y'all think of this list? Do you agree with some of the song choices? Are there songs that you have that you wish that would have made the list that didn't make the list? Definitely leave it in the comments. But let's see what y'all are saying. Her Marvin Gaye cover. Oh yeah, I definitely love that song. Massive Attack, I believe. What was that? Nelly Hooper produced that, I believe, right? You say glad to see Cameron D. Perfume Girl and Crazy for You represented on this list. The latter is one of her best songs of the 80s, despite how cookie cutter it is. And get straight to the point. Chris, I'm so glad and happy I found your channel. Well, thank you. Appreciate the love. Sky Fits Heaven. So find it. We do love that song. I mean, 80s. Thief of Hearts, Glass Breaks, bitch. That's another part of that song that I absolutely love too. Don't Tell Me is very nostalgic for me. Makes me feel like I'm in a cheesy rom-com set in New York City, and that's definitely what it gives. And funny enough, Madonna had me out here wearing cut-off t-shirts, kind of like how she did with the Kylie Minogue one. I told and had the little safety pins in it. I had one that was a Superman shirt that I bought. I remember buying in was it St. Mark's Place? Might have been. No, it wasn't St. Mark's, but it was eighth. It was 8th Street because Patricia Field and them had a little store over there. So I remember I would go over there and buy stuff. I used to hang out in St. Mark's Place too. Oh my God, those were memories. Because that was like where more like the edgier rock kids hung out. The punk kids and stuff were all up on St. Mark's Place. So I used to hang around there a lot. Is it not to over and I loved being on the east side. Not to overshare, but Bad Girl is my sober song. Such a good showcase of Madonna's songwriting, storytelling, and honesty in this life. Rain and Substitute for Love are evident of that. No borderline, no in this life, no Shanti Astanji. Would people even consider Shanti Astanji to be um, a choice? I don't think I said Human Nature. Wait, hold on. Let me go further up. Was Human Nature in here? I don't think it was in here. Yeah, y'all didn't even put. Look, they said don't throw tomatoes at them over this list. Did I say burning up? Yeah, burning up was at 31. Candy Perfume Girl 30. Secret Garden, Future Lovers, American Life, La Isla Bonita, God Control. What if you like from girls? Line? Oh Father, The Power of Goodbye, Thief of Hearts, Into the Groove, Justify My Love. Yeah, it's not in here. Yeah, at least that song should have been chosen. She has so many. Maybe they should have did 50. That would have worked. All right. Let me get through the rest of y'all questions and then we'll get to this Stuart Price one. where he talks about the no true blue, no human nature, no love tried to welcome me. I love love trying to welcome me too. He said love song is pretty iconic. Mm. Come on, Prince. Would I be crazy to say no Cyber Raga? Cyber Raga was like a B side. That was on that was on like the well actually Cyber Raga was a bonus track if you buy it on the import because I remember buying that. Also, it was on the maxi single because I remember buying Sabaraga when it was on the. I don't remember what's which single one might have been Ray of Light. I don't remember. It was a long time ago, and I was buying a lot of imports and stuff back then, and maxi singles and stuff. Like I already told you, I lived. My second home was the Virgin Mega Store because it had everything in there and Tower Records. That was my third home, but I was always in Virgin Megastore because it was just everything that I needed was in there. All the imports, all the maxi singles, everything I was looking for. I was even able to find Box of Chocolates, Kevin Aviance's debut album, in um, Virgin Megastore. I remember Liquid Love too. All right, so let's get into this one because I have an article from Attitude on where Stuart Price was talking about Madonna and the making of Confessions too. Funny enough, I didn't even come up with like the structure on doing the thing. This is kind of like just an instinctual thing. And I'm like, should I break this thing up? But I feel like this should be a full episode that everybody watches through and through because we dropping some jewels on this channel, and this has been a lot of fun hanging out with y'all and just talking all things MadonTa. So yeah, so he talks about their collaboration, being a co-creator, musical director, and tour producer, and basically gave attitude an inside look into what it's like working with the Queen of Pop and the inspiration behind her new album. So it says, I've officially taken a seat of Madonna, the Queen of Pop, inadvertently, that is. She was in here last night. We're working on something. Actually, you're sitting in her seat, he said, pointing onto my spot on the end of a long, fluffy white sofa in the loft of his Notting Hill production studio. We're in a hub of where one of the most anticipated albums of the year for the gays, quite possibly of the past 20 years, was not just recorded, but formulated, tweaked, tightened, and then first let loose into the world. It is the birthing place of Madonna's most intimate and vulnerable record in years. I know this because I have heard the record, and by the time you are reading this, it's likely you will have too. Saying, quote, she is as forward facing today as ever. It's just that there's a willingness on this record to look at that experience of life that she had, Price said. The gentility of his reading Berkshire upbringing coming through in every carefully considered word, as he explains how post celebration tour and going into creating Confessions 2, Madonna was ready to reflect on her incomparable life experience, artistic hunger, and that extraordinary discography. This is more than just a sequel album. It's an authentic and natural progression of the Confessions concept. It doesn't just take the core elements of the original album and create new songs, but pushes the sound further, faster, deeper, and deeper. And further you go into the album, from Madonna's first invitation on track 1, I Feel So Free, to Come On Meet Me on the Dance Floor, Come Here Baby, I Can Give You Much More, Tonight, oh baby, let's do it right. See, now you're going to have me singing a song. Through the club ready beats that call for us to disconnect from our devices and reconnect on a more spiritual, sacred level that the ritualistic process of dancing in mass has provided for thousands of years. The energy builds further seamlessly as per Confessions on the Dance Floor, from one song to the next. From there, Confessions 2 takes us into Madonna's life experiences of recent years, in which she sings about her brother Christopher, who died of cancer in October of 2024, on the intimate Fragile, and reflects on her own life journey on emotional album closer LES Girl. This is the Madonna you have always known, but unlike you have ever heard her before. So They asked him, what words come to mind when somebody says Madonna to you? And he says, first and foremost, a true artist. She's so singular. She's so dedicated to her art. I often say one of the reasons I believe in Madonna's authenticity is there's no off switch. There's no point at which she just sits down and eats pizza and clicks on Netflix. It just doesn't happen. She's completely owned in at all times. Her mind is always creating, studying, reading. Now, what was the first Madonna song that you fell in love with? And he says, oh, wow, a Madonna song that gave me the effect where it pulled my neck in a completely different direction to everything else that was going on was Justify My Love. It was that unique thing in a record where the video was banned. I always think that's a wonderful thing to happen for the song because it guarantees attention. I remember Justify My Love coming along. There was just an inexplicable curiosity in the music because it didn't sound like anything else. It didn't have a classic vocal performance. It had an amazing atmosphere to it. That's really where I started to pay attention to Madonna as a transgressive rule breaker. She's just not like anyone else. Then they asked, did you ever see her live before you worked together? He says, no, I mean, actually, I would go as far as to say I wasn't deeply aware of her body of work until we started to work together. That always makes it great too, because then it goes to show, like, you know, I'm not really a fan of their stuff. I could just come in and we can just create off of what it is, like a vibe or whatever the case is. We don't have to just conform to, oh, you're coming in as a groupie or just a fan of the music. Because to me, it's like I would rather create with somebody who's not really as scaunched into what I'm doing. I was like, yeah, I know the songs, but I'm not a big fan like that. That'll humble a bitch quick. Then he said, you first worked together on the Drown World Tour. He said, I was DJing remixing a lot. Yeah, because I used to follow Stuart Price back when he was Jacques Lecointe. Jacques the Cunt. So what's wrong when he was taking on all these different personas and stuff? I didn't really know him as Stuart Price like that because I was listening to him, you know, as somebody who's a fan of music and DJing and stuff. That's what got me turned on to him, and I just liked sort of his style of music, like the electronic flourishes, and a lot of what you hear on Confessions definitely comes is like a lot of that influence of what he likes to do. And then he would remix for a lot of other artists. They said one of those people that I remixed for was Milway, who had just produced music. I'd been to his studio in Paris and he saw that I could play piano and guitar and asked if I could go to LA and rehearse. All the music that Milway made with Madonna was simultaneously sophisticated and simple at the same time. And I think that he felt that in a live setting, the music could quickly turn into something too vague. He said, would you go and play keyboards? So I went to LA to rehearse with her. I think that's one that I was the most unqualified musician in the room, but Madonna appreciated the weirdness and what I could do, what I did with the music. Really quickly, she said, why don't you do the whole thing? In her very instinctive way, she completely rebuilt how she was going to do the Drown World Tour. So we started touring first, and then we did the Reinvention Tour, after which she said, why don't we just make some new music together? And that really where Confessions on a Dance Floor started. And you already know because Madonna is somebody who does things unconventionally. Like she'll say, I'm not the best singer, I'm not the best dancer. And to me, Stewart was in that same boat of like, he's not the best of those other things. They just go based off instinct. And I think that's what connected her to him, that they had a lot in common. And now you see like some of the people who aren't like the most industry or classically trained. I've always found that people who aren't conventionally trained in a lot of ways are way more interesting because it's about instinct and it's just about creating off the fly and going with that gut versus anything else. And then they said, when the calls for Confessions 2 came, what thoughts came to mind? Well, I knew we were doing Confessions 2, and Madonna posted on social media saying, who's ready for Confessions 2? We had a long gap of maybe 10 plus years of not working together, and she announced that she was going to do the Celebration Tour, and I thought that's such a good thing to do for her, to pull together all this amazing series of eras and her body of work. I wrote to her and I said, congratulations on the tour announcement. And she said, I was just thinking about you. I need a musical director. Can we talk about doing a Celebration Tour? Probably 2 weeks later, I went to New York. We met and we started going through the set list. And really quickly, we picked up where we left off. I think the most great creative partnerships are not hallmarked by why did you stop working together? They're hallmarked by how quickly can you pick up where you left off. The only thing that happened is there was like a decade of living happening between us working together again. We spent probably a year and a half recording the Confessions 2 album. So much happens in a year and a half in someone's life, especially for someone like Madonna, who was just exposed to so many experiences, in some parts due to the number of people that she comes across. Also, her life has roller coaster like elements to it. She loses people who she's known for a long time, or she finds new art that she loves. She's such a consumer of new and old art. There's always so much going on, but that doesn't always regurgitate itself into an obvious pop song. Sometimes it just presents itself in something way deeper than that, or something that reminds her of a previous time in her life, and then she starts writing about it. And they ask, which elements of Confessions on the Dance Floor did you want to continue, and what new ideas did you want to bring into the space? Because it couldn't just be a repetition. It needed to have the bones of the first album, but also to be an evolution. And so he says, to me, the sound of Confessions is the sound of the two of us working together. There's a certain chemistry in that sound. We have a real shared musical sensibility. We tend to like the same thing stylistically. And why that's really helpful is because it means you have a musical shorthand. Instead of doing too much talking about what we're going to do, it was just more action and actually just making music. All the music on Confessions 2 came very instinctively. It didn't come from ever saying, what kind of song do you want to do today? It was just like with Confessions 1, every day something new would just spill out, and that could just be starting on the guitar. One Step Away happened because I was just playing an old drum machine, and for the sake of just having fun, and Madonna was like, this is really good. She was sitting on the couch and she was like, this is really good, and just keep playing it. Then she began dancing. I thought, this is a really fun moment to be in the studio. This reminds me of being on stage with you. But then she said to put the microphone on, and she just did a complete one take performance, which became One Step Away. Now, one of the things that we were so keen to create on this record was this immersive feeling of connection of what clubs are, why they're important, how they let people express themselves, how they let people find new people. They're ultimately very liberating spaces. One observation that we've made about this era of music is that DSPs, digital service providers, more or less force you into making individual songs. Like your song could be 2.5 minutes, and then it must stop. The next song is 2.5 minutes, and then it must stop. Right? And we want to go against the grain. Part of the reason for making a continuously mixed album is because it's somewhat against how DSPs want you to present music. Madonna was always very rebellious in that sense. So, to her, having a record also be a continuous thing, it just goes against the grain of what is expected. And she's always done that. She's always gone against what is the popular thing. And the funny thing about this too is why we had somebody in the comments earlier that was saying that the younger people are upset over the fact this album is over an hour long. And I'm like, so what? Y'all, because y'all used to people like Charlie XCX giving you 30 minutes or 2.5 minute songs or minute and 30 seconds. I'm like, no. Those of us, we grew up on songs where a song lasted how long you wanted it to last. Meaning, if you're going based off of creativity and instinct, that you're doing the song, okay, this song is 5.5 minutes, this song is 4 minutes, this song might be 2.5, this song also is about to hit 10 minutes. Remember Too Long by Daft Punk? That song is 10 fucking minutes long. So you do what the instinct calls you to do. I'm not gonna do a song because the you know the song calls for them to do something. The what is it, DSP, have them do the song for 2.5 minutes. It's like, no, I'm not serving that. I'm not serving a machine. I'm not being a slave to the machine. I'm not going to be a slave to the algorithm. We're gonna vibe off this song. We're gonna work it to how we want to work it. And if the algorithm want to feel away, they can kiss. And her being the big star she is, she's like, they can kiss my ass. I don't need these algorithms and all this other stuff to make my shit work. I mean, maybe the fandom, because everybody's loving Confessions too, that'll help it now. And even though it was doing well with the algorithms before, not as big as you would expect. But I don't think she cares about that, because she's like, the album's gonna do what it does. I'm gonna tour the record. It's gonna make a shit ton of money per usual, and she's gonna break more records. So then he adds, the theme of identity and ascertaining your place in the world today is very prominent on this record. He says, you're not going to find a better advocate for individualism than Madonna. Literally, one of Madonna's core messages is her tireless advocacy for both her individualism, but also encouraging other people to show their individualism as well, which is what we talked about earlier, what people were saying in the comments. It's a core part of her artistic offering to the world. I think that's why on the celebration tour, she was definitely some kind of real. There was some kind of reawakening where she saw what she represents to people in her life. I think that feeling gave her confidence creatively to be both expressive and vulnerable on this record. Lyrically, she is being quite vulnerable, and that's a bold thing to do. That is true. And you can only do that from a place of security and comfort. An artist has to feel like they're able to be themselves unapologetically without fear of embarrassment or failure. I think that some of those themes on the record were a byproduct of her connecting to the audience on tour. We definitely look at this record as a conversation with the audience as it is a static moment in time. And what I mean by that is we had this amazing window where we finished the album, started to promote it, the vinyl is still being pressed, the cassettes and digital masters are still being made. When we played at nightclub the Abbey in LA to debut tracks from Confessions 2, we made an edit of Love Sensation where we had a bigger breakdown in it for a club. We finished doing that show and we went, well, let's just make that the record. So that's what's appeared on Love Sensation. The breakdown of the song now is because we were trying to rinse it out for that night. The live arrangements of songs we did on Confessions 1 tour have got extra things in them that we end up going, oh, that's really good. I wish that could have been on the record. This time we've been able to incorporate those things. At Times Square, there were things that we did on Bring Your Love that she loved that became part of the remix. I love that we're in an era where you can have a new experience, put it on a record, and release it. Well, it makes it more. I feel like in this era, because of how quick it is to do things now digitally, you can take a lot of those ideas and this remix version. Oh, I love what you did with that on the in the live performance. So now we can add that to this thing, and it works. Now, why for you was Sabrina Carpenter the right artist to be on that record? Because Madonna doesn't collaborate much. They said no, absolutely. Sabrina's been very open about the influence Madonna has had on her. They have very different paths into music, but I think Sabrina was very open to Madonna. That Madonna was always an idol of hers, and that she wanted a career like hers. Sabrina naturally has this admiration for her, and they were already in touch. There were a couple of things that we thought about on this album, which was how do you spread the message? On Confessions 1, we had Hung Up, which had ABBA as a conversation point. On this, the ideas of doing collaboration with someone like Sabrina is in itself a talking point that creates curiosity, but it only works if there was some kind of natural connection between the two people. And the truth is, you don't just know until you go into the studio. Bring Your Love is not really a happy pop song. It's about saying fuck you to doubters. um, Where'd I go? Okay, the core message of the song is if you don't understand why I do what I do, fuck you. That people doubting Madonna is something that she has a hard time with. But I think the duality of both the Sabrina version and Madonna's remix version is the beauty of context around lyrics. That it can either be about Madonna and Sabrina's shared experience in the music business, or it could be or it could be very specifically about Madonna's sense of what it's like to be doubted and to be a fighter. The beauty of lyrics is an ambiguity. You should never write a lyric that's too on the nose. You always need to write and leave enough room for interpretation. So that's the interview. I think there might be more to it, but that's the cutoff. So shout out to Stewart. And one of the things I will say about this whole situation, there was something I was watching. I don't know if it was the Oh, I think it might have been the Graham Norton thing because they came out with Stewart at one point, and people were saying they want to hear more from Stewart. I would definitely love to see like a full interview where Stewart sits down with an interviewer and they just break down what was the process of making this album and what is it like working with Madonna. Like we got a bit of it here, but I would definitely let him pick his brain because like I said, I nerd out like that and I like hearing stuff about like creative processes of records and stuff. So shout out to you. Yes, we love Stuart Price up in here, up in here. Just got the to the record store about to get my CD. Let me find out you got me on the thing. You watching me while you up in the store getting your CD. I love the dedication of y'all with the show. You take me everywhere you go. I will follow Chris, follow him wherever he may go. He said, has to be one of my favorite B-sides, even though it's on the Japanese Rave Light edition. Pandora is already playing so far on the new album on their Madonna channel. They just played Dance Interior. Shout out to Pandora. Not Pandora Box, but Pandora. Pink Pantheress is one of those artists who hate long, and that's what get on my damn nerves with her. No shade to her, but I feel like a lot of these people don't value art, and so yeah, it's like get in, get out, and it's like you're forcing these songs to be short, and then sometimes I'm like, oh, this song is really good. Is there a longer version? Because somebody asked Adam Lambert about that with "Eat You Alive," and he was like, no, if you want to hear the song again, play it over. I'm like, well, no, but that's what y'all want. Y'all want it's that algorithm hustling. I see through the bullshit. So to me, it's just like, no, I don't like these little short songs. Ethel Kane is a Gen Z artist, and she has songs. Well, one that's why we love Ethel Kane over here. What really sold me on her, I mean, I know Onyx comes on the show and talks about Ethel Kane a lot, but what sold me on Ethel Kane was seeing that Coachella performance that she did. So I was like, okay. The last track on her album was 15 minutes long, and she managed to not drag it out just for the sake of it. Miley has a song that's 12 minutes long for no real good reason besides the look, and that's kind of always been my constructive criticism on Miley. I've always felt like, okay, girl, now you just be doing shit to be pretentious. That's why I could never 110% get behind Miley Cyrus as a musician because I'm like, who are you through all of these personas? It's like you giving me Hannah Montana tea, even though she don't particularly care to embrace Hannah Montana except recently when she did that special. It definitely feels like you still playing a role instead of like really being yourself, being yourself. He said British Classic Pop Magazine said the Confessions on the Dance Floor sequel is The Godfather 2 of follow-up records. I couldn't have said it better myself because we all love Godfather 2 more so than Godfather. I mean, the first Godfather was iconic, but Godfather 2, bitch, that movie is everything. Speaking of which, you probably got me in the mood. I'm probably gonna end up watching those movies because I think one of the streaming services got all the Godfather movies up, and it's been so long. The last time I saw The Godfather was for the first time was maybe like 10 years ago. It was at AMC was showing it. I think it was like an anniversary thing or whatever. They showed it, and I was like, I never saw The Godfather. Obviously, it was because it came out before I was even born. And number two, I never saw it in the movies. So at the time when I was working at AMC, I was like, you know what? I never seen the movie. I've always wanted to see the movie. And so let me sit in the theater and actually watch it. And it was good. I was like, this is my moment. Let me I took you shopping with me at Walmart, made it easy for me to love small town white sundown. He said, I think Miley has a great voice, but her music is hit or miss. Sammy, yeah, agreed. The only time I really got into Demi Lovato's music was when she came out with this little dance record that she did, but it just didn't feel like she was 110% committed to playing that dance role. And that, but don't get me wrong, her concert was good. That set looked a little cheap in them outfits she was wearing. But when she got up there and started singing Heart Attack and a lot of those classics, oh, the children lost their shit. And I didn't realize there was so many gays up in that show too. I was like, am I at a Gaga concert or am I at a Demi Lovato concert? How do we deal with the fact that this might be the second to last Madonna album? I've been hearing rumors about this might be her last record or whatever. Maybe this will be the last conventional album that something she puts out in a conventional way. I do feel like in so many ways she'll always release music, or maybe what it is she'll go out and she'll just perform or whatever the case is. But I don't know I don't know how I feel about it. I just want to treasure this moment and this record. But I mean, if she has something that she wants to put out there and has something to say, then I'll be here for it. I'm just glad I got to experience her live. The first time I ever saw Madonna live was the Confessions tour. That was the first time I got to see her live. Then I did the Celebration tour. So that was awesome, and I'm looking forward to this new tour. I just can't understand why Beyonce would release a random single in the middle of it. and not even a good one at that. You said, I hope she does at least one with her brother-in-law, Joe Henry. Well, didn't they do something before? Or he wrote something on that on one of her albums. Was that the music album? Or I can't remember which album it was that Joe Henry wrote a song for one of her records. Y'all gonna let me remind me in the comment. Oh yeah, it was Jump. I said no, it was one. Okay, so it was on Confessions. On Holiday 2, best believe no one is gonna be checking on Bay when the photos of that one. Okay. Yeah, when them Taylor Swift wedding shit come out. Okay, so so was that so he's written a couple of ones allegedly. We'll see. And what Act 3 what is gonna sound like. That'll be the interesting part. Okay, camera, stop moving. Mm-hmm. It was that song too. I forgot. All right, y'all. So unless y'all have anything else more to add to the show, I think this is the perfect time to bow on out. So yeah, thank you all for tuning in into this episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, the special MadonTa edition. Um, I will be back on Monday with a brand new episode of the regular show where we'll get into talking about all things pop culture and the homosexual news and all that stuff. Maybe I'll even give a recap of the whole drag race thing if I feel up to it. I don't know yet. But, I just do topics depending on how I feel and things. And so, yeah, thank you all for tuning in. Those of you who are just now new discoverers of the channel and those who've been around since the beginning and all that good stuff, love you all for watching. Thank you for your continued support. Thank you for kicking with me for 3 hours talking about Madonna. I mean, child, we can go on forever, but I don't want to overstay my welcome and just come up with random stuff and start to lose people and all that stuff. So we'll just cap it here. For those who actually going to watch the episode later on, definitely leave your comments down below on what your favorite songs were, what your least favorite songs were, what you're looking forward to seeing her cover on the upcoming tour. You can even put your own little personal set list on songs that you would like to, with the structure and what songs you would like to hear on the tour. I do hope that she focuses a lot on maybe some songs from Confessions, some songs from Erotica, some songs from the Ray of Light album, and of course Confessions too. So I hope that she focuses more on that, or she can find ways to remix a lot of her earlier stuff and find ways to incorporate them into the upcoming tour. That'll be cool. I'm genuinely curious to see how she's gonna work this out. And I'm also hoping that we get to see her, because I do believe she's doing Glastonbury in 2027. So we'll see how all that works out. And the EP of 8 songs that she's gonna release. And as someone mentioned in the comments, the was the Confessions remix. That's what we need. Oh, this is why I said I don't know why people is bringing this stuff up, but you want to know something? I'm gonna save that for Monday. But like I said, that's why I'm so glad I was not working. Security, it was working it. I think we had some people in the food and bev department. I'm so glad my department, which is guest services, we weren't needed. And to me, it's like, no, I'm not. Look, they were like, so you was at the Taylor Swift wedding. What happened? Nothing. I don't know. I seen the whole thing in my mind, but I wasn't there. And that's because I love my job and I'm not going to try to, so if you got a NDA, people honor it. It's not worth it, especially if you like working at the garden. So I'll definitely look at, because what's going to happen is that TMZ, Page Six, Daily Mail, all the gossipers, all the going to be out there trying to get y'all to spill tea. Don't do it. Been there, done that. Not me spilling the tea, but I've had the situations where I told y'all that Justin Bieber situation when I worked at AMC, and they wanted to know what was going on when he came in after his show at the Garden. This was years ago, and he went and rented out one of the theaters late at night when we closed. So, and this is like around midnight or something or another. I forgot what he watched too. I may have to hit one of my AMC people up because they be having better memories than me on all of them little details and ask them what it was that he was watching. But yeah, we'll save that story for Monday because I'm like, I want to keep this strictly Madonna we'll get back to that celebrity news and gossip stuff back when we have our regularly scheduled program. So anyway, yeah, love you all for watching. Thank you for continuing support. And until next time, ciao, darlings.